everybody? It is the Neon Prodigy here with.
So, Dan, I'll save you the hassle. Don't worry, Neon. But it's good to be here with you today, Neon. It's always good to be here with you for CGL stuff, right?
Yeah. And today, it's going to be something really good from CGL. We have the Xbox EU Tier 3 GOAT Finals. This is going to be a great matchup, so if you have a bit more information on the teams.
Yeah, so we've got the Dynamo Hazard facing off against Ninyo Ishot. And Dynamo Hazard coming in kind of the fresher faces here. Most of these players came from other stuff. You're going to have to keep an eye on Necromancer on the Reinhardt and Mr. Ben Pancake himself there over on the Brig, keeping an eye out for a lot of those key points. Juicy Bunda also going to be the other one that we have to keep an eye out on because that's going to be the spot that's going to flex a little bit more. A lot of teams opt for the Zenyatta, but if you've watched any of these games earlier, it's going to be like questionable because we're probably going to see some Ana, we might see some Moira, so that's kind of the other flex spot we're going to see. And as a team that's kind of coming fresh to CGL, there's a lot of questions. They went through their season 4 and 2, they didn't come in with the best record, so they're in a position where they kind of have to prove themselves, and I'm sure these guys have a lot to prove, and I'm looking forward to see what they do, Neon.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting to watch them go up against their opponents for this match. Ninyo Ishot or Ninyo Ishot. We are not exactly sure on that. I'm pretty sure it is Ishot. We are going to call them Ishot for now.
Yeah, no free advertisement, as they say. But this team's quite honestly got a little bit of a, dare I say, stacked nature to it. They came through 6-1 here, and Ninyo on the Brig themselves going to be one of the key players to keep an eye out for. There's a couple other rotations. But the other player who is going to be the other big one, we're going to see them kind of rotate and play that flex support slot, that Zen, Ana, Moira slot. But this team has just a lot of pedigree behind it. A lot of these players have participated in previous CGL GOATS events, have made it to finals, quarterfinals, semis. So this is a team made of players that know how to play in high pressure situations like finals like this. So dare I say, this is kind of the team you might put your money on if you're taking a safe bet, Neon.
I would definitely have to agree with you on that. Just coming in with their match differential, it is 6-1 for Ninyo and 5-2 for Dynamo. That gives the advantage to Ninyo right off the bat. They have a lot of people that are really good at playing the GOATS competition with a lot of prestige. And they have someone on their team named after their team, or their team's named after them. That's always something you want to look out for when you're going into any game.
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to name the team after yourself, I think that speaks to your own sense of pride and your own ability to play, right? If you're willing to put the entire team name on your back, you better be able to carry that weight. And I mean, as the Brigitte, you kind of have to put that weight on your back and do a lot of the things. You have really important whip shots to make. We're playing on an old patch, so shield bash through the Rhine shield is going to be super big. So there's a lot of important things you're going to have to keep an eye on Ninyo. So we'll find out if she is in fact actually hot today.
Yes, and as we go into the first map here, you have the information of what this map is going to be.
Yeah, so we're going to go to, I know everybody's shocked, get ready. We're going to Lijiang Tower. I mean, everybody, it's okay, I'll give you a minute, you can process this, but we're going to Lijiang Tower. There's no other place that most people who play GOATS reasonably consistently want to go to for control maps. It's been the first map for most of this pool, and really the difference is just going to come to which map do we see first. If we see Night Market, you kind of have to avoid the bridges a few times and kind of change your positioning, let them come in, give a little more space. But if you're anywhere else, you might want to play aggressively, and sometimes you'll use some of those ults, beat, rally, just aggressively to keep yourself that space and keep yourself getting as much point as you can while these fights go on, Neon.
Yeah. The map I'd be most looking forward to on Lijiang Tower is going to be Control Center, and it is what we're going to have first. The possible best GOATS point on all of Control.
Yeah, there's no high ground to really contest. There's a couple different ways, so you can get through some of the middler choke points, but there's the one main. We'll see a lot of hold at these kinds of doors as we're looking and viewing the ships there. But it's really going to be different. We're going to see Juicy on the the Zens come out for both of the flex supports. So we'll have to see what those difference make as they come in here, Neon.
Yeah, and immediately that difference is made with the Discord on the Necromancer immediately falls, and that's going to be the rest of Ninyo just pushing in, capitalizing, pushing everyone's Dynamo right back into the spawn. An immediate first pick. Huge play there with the Discord, immediate aggression, and the points almost immediately going to go to Ninyo here.
I mean, when you fell the Reinhardt, fight's over. That's your main shield, that's your main front line. But the Rein's back, and they're going to try to recontest as that point comes over, Neon.
They're going to try and get some recontest here and see if they can pull off another big Discord. They start it with a lot of damage, but it's not going to be enough to get the pick outright. In fact, double picks onto Ninyo here. They lose Zeki. They lose Celeb. They're two big tanks. The Diva's only one left with the Discord on them. Not much Ninyo can do here. They lose their the Lucio. They lose all of the three supports. Only the Diva now, just as a bit of stall.
And Juicy kind of wins in the Transcendence race here, but there's also all the other ults coming on, and they're going to be short this Earth Shatter going in for Dynamo Hazard, but they'll have everything else, including Grab Bomb, so that'll be their win con versus Ninyo's. Ninyo's going to get theirs as well, but they're still going to be a little bit behind on beat. Nitro Gaming just not quite there yet, so that late beat could be the difference maker in Neon.
Yeah. With those ults already coming in, we see the grab countered by the Transcendence. Rally can come in off the Transcendence's back, really push forward here. Ninyo going to try and get anything they can off of that. They have other ults to use here. Shatter going to come through, and it's huge. It gets four. The Transcendence and grab are going to be trying to capitalize on that. Mr. Ben falls inside of that. Only one to go down for the moment here, but that Brig not being there is going to cause a lot of problems. First of which being the Reinhardt going down without any of that Brig rally support. That's going to be Ninyo taking back the point.
Dynamo really only committed Graviton and Transnet, but that's a late stagger, and that's going to be unfortunate. So they'll have the other four, 2 tanks, 2 support ults, Rally. If they enter on Rally, that could be a big win con to get through themselves through this. Meanwhile, Ninyo just kind of threw a lot into that. They only have Bomb and this beat to save themselves against, so they're going to have to use that very wisely here, Neon.
Yeah, and they're going to have to use it somewhere in this. We're going to see the ults come through. Shatter gets blocked almost by the wall here. Bomb coming in as well. Gets 2! Ninyo with a huge double kill. Nullifying the 2 ults already came through, and that's going to be it for Dynamo's attack.
That should not have gotten the value it did. They sent that long, and it looked like Dynamo just wasn't ready for it. So they won on the back of just committing that. So Ninyo only comes out ahead. They have the Earth Shatter. They now have Transcendence too. 2 of their 3 support ults. They'll get Rally mid-fight. So they're looking really good as we go into this. And on the side of Dynamo Hazard, they have to make this Graviton Surge be big. But there's an Earthly Falls, Neon. Neon, what happened?
Just the pick comes through out of nowhere. The Lucio and the rest of the team is going to fall. Dynamo has to pull back and set up for this last fight here.
They are coming into the last fight territory, but they've barely been able to get any control, and that slight late statter onto Gravitic is going to be tough. Dynamo does have Grab Bomb here, so they're going to have to make a big pick and look for a pin for the Reinhardt. Ninyo, though, does have 4 ultimates. They have only 1 in that Graviton Surge, but they have all 3 support ults, and Poppy's going to commit the barrier early to touch.
Yeah, just get in there. You're gonna see all the other ults being used very quickly. Bomb, grab, Transcendence, rallies, everything under the sun. Bomb's coming through. Yes, the Reinhardt Diva dies as well. Dynamo might have a really good shot here. They're building up their ults mid-fight. The Shatter is online, but they're not gonna be able to need it here as they just get the picks outright. Able to take the point back.
They had to commit several ults into it, and wait, I didn't know we were playing with the remet kill buff still applied. Well, that's fair too. But I mean, obviously it's not. That was just a very, very lucky play, so we're honestly in the presence of that. But you do have Rally for Dynamo Hazard and that Rally Shatter, and they're going to have to make those last, as there still is a Shatter on the side of Ninyo is hot. So it's going to come what happens in the mid-fight here, Neon.
Very important as they come through. Bomb coming in the back line. Again, turn around the Reinhardt. Possible Shatter coming through, and it does come through. Double pick with the bomb. It's huge. They're going to capitalize on the stunned Reinhardt from that. Rally trying to keep this fight alive. You're going to see a grab possibly come in if they can get that. If they find something using that. Ninyo does go down. The Diva is demexed, but the grab coming through gets the high ground, keeping everyone on point for a while. Able to take the Zen out in that time. Lucio falls as well. The support line's gone. Cactus does fall, but not before getting the picks that are able to save this fight or potentially save this fight here. The respawns are coming in for Dynamo, but it looks like they're going to be able to take this.
That's unfortunate. They're still holding on, and now it's 1 fight territory for Dynamo Hazard, and they didn't have to commit too much. They still have this Earth Shadow. They're going to get bombed, so they're going to have that, but they're going to come into Trance soon. So that's going to be their key to keeping themselves alive, is this Transcendence here, because that's going to be big versus Graviton's early Shatter. Does catch one, and the Lucio is out. That's going to be a problem, Neon.
Can be a problem as the bomb coming through. Grab is there as well. Brig goes down. Transcendence and Shatter coming out as well. Another Shatter. Oh, sorry, Transcendence. Both Shatters. No, Transcendence coming out at the same time. Sound Barrier coming through. Two go down for Ninyo. Two are down. The respawn cannot come through, but the bomb coming up in the air. The rally going to try and counter that. Gets Poppy down. That's a huge pick right there, but it's not going to be enough as three go down onto Ninyo. Dynamo looking extremely lethal here. They had the grab, keeping Ninyo off the point, and they take round number one.
I mean, just great spacing of ultimates from Dynamo Hazard there. They really didn't want to give that up. They started playing like a team and getting picks and committing and winning on ults, so good on them. That could have been very cataclysmic, and as we go into map 2, they have to keep this pressure up because Ninyo just came out with a very, very big fierce, and they've been getting very, very big picks out of those bombs, so they're going to have to play a little safer if they want to prevent this Rhine, these Rhine stuns that just allow them to get value out of those Diva bombs. But I don't see any changes coming out. It's still both Zenyatta's. It looks like they're both happy with Transcendence, but we'll see if that changes midway through here.
It could very easily change. This is a bit more of a rangier map. It's kind of the middle map of the 3, so an Ana might very easily come in, especially when it's coming down to the overtime. You see Ninyo start to take a bit of advantage on the point. They have the point just kind of locked. Once it opens up, Dynamo going to be able to push in immediately. Once it opens up, a lot of damage being applied here. The Discord coming, getting a lot of value onto Dynamo, almost losing quite a few people here. The point finally gonna start to open up. Ninyo takes a huge amount of damage. Is gonna be able to survive here. The point finally opens up. The Discord's coming through, forcing Dynamo off. They lose Juicy. Ninyo are able to take the point here. Cactus falls as well. Stuns coming in, but it's not gonna be enough. Necromancer gets taken out as they try and thin out, and Dynamo has to back up and regroup.
That's the value of getting there first, right? Once you get that point positioning, you can set where you want to fight those points. And they were just able to get value on that Zenyatta from who has their Transcendence. They're ahead in the race, so they'll be rewarded with 2 of the 3 support ults going into the next fight as the Graviton comes out early from Ziki.
Yeah, early, and it's going to be countered by the Sound Barrier, just able enough. A 3-man Shatter going to come through. Another counter Shatter was also used there. Didn't get much. A Transcendence Rally, Sound Barrier counter, bomb, all but the kitchen sink being used here. Remat kill on 2. Ninyo's Reinhardt grab coming through, taking out Ninyo themselves.
Again?
And now the push onto point here. Dynamo looking like they're going to be able to take this. They just need to clean up the people on the point. They're able to take Zeki. They're able to take Who. And now it's just the Diva left. I believe Reinhardt coming back in as a stall. Discord already on them. And that's going to be it.
It's just going to be, they're going to keep trying to stagger this out the best they can, try and get it to one fight, but it's basically over here. And at that point, Dynamo just getting some ultimate charge out of that because they don't have anything. They're going to have to build into Shatter as this fight starts, which puts them in the worst position because there's not only Bomb but Transcendence, so they have a little bit of a disadvantage on the defense too. So if Padoria gets this bomb in a well-placed again and they stun this Reinhardt, but the Shatter comes out, doesn't catch anything. If they put that bomb in the right position, they win.
Yeah, that one ult could be all it takes. They have this portal as well to sustain if they even need it. They're going to push forward now. Ninyo trying to get whatever they can. Discord's coming through. There's the bomb into the back line with the grab combo.
It's Ian!
It's Ian! What a huge 6-person Shatter coming in!
My God.
Down. Ninyo is going to get traded here, so there are some trades back and forth, but it's looking heavily in Ninyo's favor here.
I can't believe they didn't turn that. There just wasn't enough follow-up from that 6-man Shatter, and that's so unfortunate. But there's still time. This is not quite one fight yet, so they'll get a chance. They have both Beat and Trance going into this, and that rally's going to take a little bit of time. But they do have the very important Graviton Surge, and they'll get bombed for Dynamo Hazard, so that has to be their win condition. Meanwhile, there's just Trance for Ninyo is hot, and they'll get Rally and Beat early in the mid-fight, so they have a little more of a defensive edge here, Neon, and we'll have to see if that pays off for Ninyo.
Ninyo also are about to build up their grab and Shatter the longer this goes on, but we can see that grab and Transcendence comes through. It's kind of splitting a bit on the wall. Everyone's still able to stay alive here. Shatter comes through, doesn't get anything. Sound Barrier, bomb, and Transcendence all being used here. Counter grab going to come through with no more support ults left, and the Massacre comes in. Ninyo takes advantage with the grab and overall damage. focus fire with no support ults left. They were using at the same time, and Ninyo are going to be able to tie it up, winning round number 2.
That's that's why you have and you want those 3 defensive ults, right? Like the level of sustain you get from being able to stagger out those various support ults is what keeps you in those longer fights, and starting those fights with them gave them an advantage to counteract whatever plays might have just been able to come out. So they were able to stagger the Transcendence later, they were able to start the rally sooner, and then let that extend and kind of play that out. So it was well handled by Ninyo is hot there to just kind of put that out. No changes across the board, so we're still going to play this Zen. And I think the key here is going to be who gets to the center first, right, Neon? Like, if you can get this position right in the center of the tower, you're going to be able to control this point more effectively than no matter where you want to take it.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of range. This is the rangiest of all 3 of the maps on the Lijiang Tower. If you can get to that point first, you will have a massive advantage. You can play using just the natural walls of the point. They're going to come in here, and it's going to be Ninyo who take advantage of the point presence first and try and get something looking like a boop here from Nitro. Not exactly able to get anything. A lot of damage being applied. No one really going down. Reinhardt on Ninyo does take a huge amount of damage. The healing, though, so efficient, so effective coming in. The point now opened up, heavily contested. No one's going to have an advantage for quite a bit, except for Zeki, who goes down very early as it begins. You can see the Reinhardt go down as well, and now just the bricks are going to fall. Another pick onto the brig, and that's going to be the beginning of the end there.
Yeah, it's a reset. You can kind of see it there. We were following Nitro, and while he was trying to figure out if they wanted to go out and get a boop, they were kind of just wasting some time and not really getting out any of the extra damage that you could have. That is so crucial in this because every point of damage counts. They're a little bit ahead in the sound barrier race, which is going to be big, but meanwhile the Transcendence is early for Dynamo Hazard, so they're going to be able to have that and Graviton Surge forwards, so this is going to be big. They're going to have a counter in play, Neon.
Yeah, so we're going to see the grab, rally, bomb, Transcendence all be used here, and the bomb's huge!
3!
Takes out Brig and Zarya. The Reinhardt went down just before that. The rest are going to fall off the map here, except for Nitro is going to stall a bit on the point.
I will say it's happening quicker the second they know it's done, but just great decision making and just committing to just getting off the map, not feeding charge and resetting to Team Ninyo there. They're coming together and they have rally, so that's going to be probably their entry point here. And on the other side, there's still Trance and a Shatter with that sound barrier coming in, so they're a little behind defensively. This rally's going to have to be important when they step through these gates, Neon.
Yeah, well, Ninyo gonna build up a bunch of ults as you're talking to. That Shatter gonna come through, doesn't really get much. Countered by the sound barrier, the bomb coming through, doesn't get anything to rally, and sound barrier coming in from Ninyo.
Oh, huge!
Shatter! No pick coming off immediately off of that Transcendence and the grab coming through, counteracting each other. Huge! Everyone caught in that! 5-person Shatter coming in from Celeb here. No one could block that 2-go down and counterpick onto Ninyo here, but it might not be enough. Celeb does go down. The Juicy taken out, Grab and Cactus go down. Ninyo finally going to be able to take that point.
They had to commit a lot into it, and they committed everything they had right away, and they managed to keep also Transcendence, but it's one fight, right? So they have Trance, and they'll get Rally to defend themselves on, and they'll get Grab Bomb partway through this fight. But there's just so much pressure from Dynamo Hazard already. There's already Grab Bomb on their side. They have Rally. They'll just push in and just play aggressively here, and that'll be the end of it.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. They pop the grab onto the side, onto the wall. Immediately take the brig out. Zarya goes down as well. Bomb doesn't get anything, but it's not. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't get anything. The rest of the tank lineup for Ninyo falls. They're going to try and get something here for a recontest.
They have one last shot. They might be able to make it. They didn't commit the Transcendence, which was smart. But that's the problem, is Transcendence can't stop a bomb. So, well, that's the way it is. They have 2 support ultimates, Rally and Trance, as they start this fight. They'll have to use those aggressively. Oh, they didn't even make it!
Yeah, no, there's just not enough time to get onto the point.
No one made it? Couldn't...
Yeah, no one.
Oh, okay. Sure. I was expecting one last final battle there, but I guess when you only have 10%, before the fight ends, it can be tough to get there. So yeah, it happens. Something must have happened off screen that we couldn't see, because there had to be someone that could get there. Like the Lucio Diva should have made it, right?
Well, I believe that Lucio was the last one to go down. They could have used the Transcendence to jump the gap. Oh, that is a very risky play.
Yeah.
Maybe just Transcendence to get in there, but end of the day, unable to get
Never.
onto the point, and Dynamo go 1-up early in this game as we exit map 1 and we start to get ready for map number 2.
A great start from the underdog Dynamo Hazard team here, and as we're going to go to once again a shocking announcement incoming. We're going to King's Row, everybody. I'm sure everybody's surprised by that. Take a breath, it'll be okay. But as we go into King's Row, this is again like the epitome of goats. This is where there's no high grounds you really need to contest. You just kind of smash at each other. There's some choke points you have to fight your way through, and it's just going to come down to a combination of good mechanics and great team play. And I would have given that initial advantage to Ninyo, but Dynamo Hazard is looking like they don't want to give this up. And for a fresh-faced team, they're putting in a lot of work versus the teamwork that's coming out of Ninyo.
Yeah, well, I find extremely interesting about that first map is that Dynamo won the two polarized maps there. The longest range one and the shortest range one, while Ninyo won the middle style. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out coming into King's Row here. This is still anyone's game. The first map was 99.99, so it is still for grabs as we are ready for King's Row.
Yep, everybody, go get your fish and chips. We're back in merry old England, so get ready. We are going to see this time Dynamo Hazard going to take up into the Ana. Huge. Anti-nade is very big versus a lot of that burst healing that comes out. We saw this a little bit kind of in the middle adaptations of goats. For anybody who doesn't know, it used to start with Moira. We swapped to the Ana for a little bit. Then we put the Zen in because Transcendence is very big. But what the advantage you get of running the Ana is that you get the anti-nade, or that nade jar. So being able to cancel out the healing of the Transcendence is going to be super big. And this may be a good choice. They're going to try and play a little bit surprise, maybe try and get them from behind as this with Dynamo Hazard. And yeah, everything looks kosher there. Ninyo Ishot coming out with the Zenyatta. We'll see if they get spotted out. They're going to look for this nade really quickly. Juicy going to be looking and hiding. There goes the nade in.
It gets so many, but Dynamo lose their Reinhardt before they're able to capitalize on anything. The sleep goes on to Ninyo's Reinhardt, but it's just not the Reinhardt already gone. That's almost the end of the fight as it begins. Everyone's gonna back up. They lose it. Sorry, they're gonna lose more here, and there's not much Ninyo can do. Or sorry, that Dynamo can do.
I mean, it was an aggressive play and it was a bold play, but that's high risk, high reward, high, what have you. So like, they were trying to catch him out, and that's the punishment for not being able to, right? Is you lose quickly. They couldn't capitalize on it. And instead, Ninyo is going to have, 2 of their 3 support ults over halfway. They're going to come in with the Rhine Shatter already almost done, as compared to, less than 50 on Dynamo Hazard. So there's just now they've just kind of messed the economy up for themselves by trying to do that Dynamo Hazard.
Well, Dynamo Hazard still have a lot more time to make that work. We'll see if they can. That is it. You can go many times, and all it takes is one good nade. Doesn't quite land there. The Shatter going to come through. Gets 3, I believe. Yes, the Ana goes down. Brig very low. Diva are getting a bunch of heals here now. Brig still very low. The pin coming through. The Zarya from Ninyo does fall here. Reinhardt from Dynamo is still now finally getting healed. We see the rally coming from Ninyo. They're going to try and still push this here, even though they're down the Zarya. They're waiting for the Ana for the defense here before they really start pushing back in. Actually, no, it's the Zenyatta. The Zen Ana going to go out of the Zen now, and the ult's being built up.
Yeah, that's going to cost them. I mean, they have 4 ults to try and stop the fight. And I don't know about that rally committed early from Ninyo. Like, you're missing most of your damage. That's going to be a tough fight. And the later rally from Dynamo is going to come out, and there comes all the ults, Neon.
See the Transcendence grab rally coming in. Dynamo, as you said, the Shatter coming through. A 4 go down to that, but a counter grab going to keep everyone alive just for the second there. Bomb and Shatter coming in as a combo. Takes going out, but the pin coming through on Mr. Ben. Both Briggs down. Diva gets taken out as well. Remat coming in from Gravik. You can see that Sunbear come through, and he gets the Lucio. Actually, no, gets I believe the Reinhardt as well. Maybe just. Both Zens do go down. Reinhardt gonna finally go down on Ninyo's side. Counter take onto the other Reinhardt. Ninyo does go down, and this looking like Dynamo able to push back Ninyo for just a bit here.
That's just the ult economy in goats. If you go into a fight with more, you have a few more tools to make it work, and they were able to rebuild a couple there, so they have the Graviton Surge going into the next fight, and they'll get Trance relatively early. They'll have Grab Bomb, I'm sorry. They'll have Graviton Surge and Bomb, so they can make something work. But meanwhile, Ninyo's doesn't really have anything on board. They're going to get Shatter start of this fight, so it's going to see how quickly they can get as the Graviton comes out. Neon, it looks like no real cleanup there. Nope, they got the break.
Break goes down. The Diva gets demech. Reinhardt's 1 health. Both are gonna fall very, very quickly. And Dynamo make quick work of this fight. No ult needed for them.
Good on them. They managed to save it and build it up, and they're going to have Rally and Soundbarrier that making all 3 of their support ultimates for Dynamo Hazard. That's going to be super big, but they only have the aggressive Shatter to play with. Ninyo, on the other hand, they only have the Transcendence. They're going to build the other 2 support ultimates mid-fight, but they have Graviton Surge, which is going to be more important to winning this fight, Neon, so we'll have to see where that lands.
Yeah, we'll see if it lands. The Shatter coming in only gets the 2 off tanks. Maybe the Reinhardt as well. No, counter Shatter coming through Transcendence. Grab coming in. 2 second support goes down. And Dynamo just, the cookie crumbles so fast sometimes. Ninyo able to start pushing, but they did lose their Rein.
Graviton Surge is such an important ultimate in these GOATS battles, right? Like, they won that on the back of it, and they only committed that and the beat, and to get them the rest of this way. Meanwhile, Dynamo Hazard, they committed the Shatter in, but they couldn't really take advantage of it. There was no real follow-up to it, and they're going to have Graviton this fight, so that's going to be their win con, is looking for Grav Bomb, I think, here with those support ultimates coming online, Neon.
We see 4 versus 4 here. Almost the same exact ults from both sides. A bit of variation here, but the ult's going to get used here. Shatter doesn't get anything almost completely blocked here. Boop onto a Lucio. Transcendence countering the grab here. Bomb coming in. Take out Ninyo, who is now on the... Sorry, I don't know when that swap happened, but it did happen. Zeki does fall, and Dynamo finally are now back in that controlling position of the defense.
I mean, they just look pretty dominant here in this point, and they still haven't committed the rally or the beat there, or they've just been, there's just not been a need for it, and they're just cycling so well. They're winning on so little Dynamo Hazard. If they can keep this up, they're going to stop and prevent the full push. But Ninyo, not to be written off already. They still have Bomb, and they're going to commit rally early, Neon.
Yeah, they're battling to come through. The Boop tries to get something, doesn't quite get anything. The Transcendence coming from both sides. Rally coming in as well. Shatter coming through, and it's everybody. Reinhardt goes down. Ninyo on Zarya goes down, and the rest of them jump off map or get taken out, except for Nitro, who's able to get away.
I mean, when you got all 6 in that Shatter, it's done. That's a winning Shatter right there, because there's nothing you can do. There's no extra healing you can put out. You only have the Lucio and any Inspire healing that you've gotten, so there's no way you can recover from that. That's exactly what you dream of in Ghost Comps, to just be able to get everybody out. But they're still holding this Grab Bomb, and that's going to be their win con. They're going to get their support ultimates going into this, if you're Ninyo, but they have to make them count here.
Yeah, and the ult's gonna come through. Double grab, Sound Barrier Bomb as well. Shatter coming in, gets the Reinhardt down. Transcendence as well to keep everyone alive for this time being. Used it a bit late there, but still keeps everyone alive. Coming into the second part of this fight. Bomb coming in from Gravik. Gonna try and get something coming on the high ground, and it takes out the Reinhardt. Still got the kill there, and that is the go button for Dynamo. They realize the Reinhardt is not there, and they're gonna push up for every penny it's worth.
They tried to get the boop onto Gravitic there, the Vitric there, and it booped it away, but I guess the Rhine on the side of Ninyo just didn't look up far enough, because it still managed to take him out. And once that Rhine falls, it's just over. Ninyo only has Sound Barrier coming to start this, and they may use it aggressively, or they may just wait on it. They're going to try and build up the rest of these support ultimates to win this fight. But there's already Trance, Grav. There's so much on the side of Dynamo Hazard. They have 4 of their 6 ults as this fight starts, Neon. That's just not looking good for Ninyo.
Ninyo should really be saving here this fight, as we see the Shadow come through, but it gets stunned! Gets stunned right out! Grab coming through,
oh, no.
Getting used, Rally, Transcendence, all the portal line of Ninyo all use their ultimates. Counter Shadow coming through, the counter Rally, the counter Bomb, all coming through. Takes out the Zen, takes out the Zarya, and the rest are just gonna fall. They don't have anything left. All of them.
Ninyo is just struggling once they're again, to their credit, they are just able to reset faster, and it's to their good, because they'll need this with one. This is last fight. They have to win this to get out the rest of the way, and thankfully they have, at least the Graviton Surge to try to win with here. They'll get Bomb and Shatter, and they'll make that work. So 3 tank ultimates could do it. Meanwhile, Dynamo Hazard, they're gonna have to see what happens in the mid fight and play well to keep themselves alive to win this fight, Neon.
Yeah, well, the grab coming through, countered by the Transcendence, unable to get any pick before the Transcendence through, but a huge Shatter coming through, gets 4, Soundbarrier gonna come in, wasn't taken down. Bomb coming through, able to take Poppy out, who already used that Soundbarrier, gets the effectiveness of their ult coming through. Counter Shatter gonna come through, Counter Trap gonna come through, Rally as well. Ninyo, just so many ults if you have it, you're using it here. This brand goes down, Zeki gonna get demech here. Rally just now ending. Necro goes down. Dynamo losing this fight here one by one. Ninyo able to start pushing this up, and they're gonna build up a few more ults here. They're gonna be able to build them up as they're coming in here. They have the Transcendence. They're gonna build a few more as the respawns come right back in. The Transcendence being used rather early here just for the one. The rest are gonna start to come back in. Poppy able to hold this for a rather long time here. Rally gonna come in from Dynamo as well. Shatter gonna come through. Doesn't really get much. Able to both ends get traded here. Necro goes down, and that is a huge pick. The defending Reinhardt down. The counter pick onto the Reinhardt, and these trades not looking good for Ninyo here. The bomb comes through. Doesn't get anything. Grab coming in. The double grab coming through. You can see a Rally come in, Soundbarrier as well to Ninyo. They're just gonna try throwing everything at a wall here, and they're getting the picks to take this here. Respawn's coming through. The D.Va just really there. Shatter
just
coming in, bomb as well. Only the Reinhardt, and there's no one left.
Ninyo was able to, man. Ninyo was able to stagger out all of their ultimates as they were getting them just so effectively to keep their players in the fight. Despite having those longer respawns and having to come from farther, they were able to focus out those picks and just able to get everything to work in their order. But it took them so long that I feel like they lost at least 3 to 4 minutes, you know, by the time we got to the end of King's Row. So on overtime means that they have to stop Dynamo Hazard before they get there. Otherwise, you know, then we go again. Then you risk possibly only being able to draw. So Ninyo's gonna have to put up quite a monstrous showing here in King's Row, and I think they could do it. They looked really good, right? Like they looked like once they kind of got it together and got their ultimate economy in order, they were able to do it. Both Zenyatta's showing, no Winstons, so this is going to be pretty similar, par for the course for both of these teams. And I think Neon, that if Ninyo plays a little bit more aggressively with that teamwork, they can win this.
Yeah, that, and they also need to be a bit more patient with their ults. They really should have been able to take the 3rd point on King's Row rather earlier, but they used all their support ults in a fight when they didn't need to, and they ended up losing it, and then just almost got lucky with their support ults coming into the last fight.
Yeah, and you know, there's the patience of GOATs too, is being able to sometimes just know, like, okay, if we just get 6 ultimates, we win. And sometimes that's the way to win it, is just to save up your ultimates, control the economy a little better, and just do it that way. But we'll have to see when as they come through hotel. This is not the hotel I want to check into, Neon.
No, it's a very aggressive strategy here. Bunch of discords coming through. Damage being applied, trying to take the point. Dynamo is stuns coming through, and everyone's just 1 health on Ninyo, but able to stay alive some way. Barely hanging on. Ninyo 1 health, but not dead yet. Point about to be taken. 1 tick. Dynamo has that tick. They have that grab as well. They're gonna use it here. Gets eaten. Yep. A huge eat from Becky. Shatter coming through. Gets immediately taken out. And that is the go button for Dynamo. They do lose their Reinhardt as well, so both Reinhardts are down. Ults now on the line for Ninyo. They have their support ults if they needed. They're able to take out Brig. D.Va is demecto. Bomb coming through. Doesn't get anyone, but clears the point off almost for the 2nd tick. The remake able to come through. The Rally able to stop it. The sound barriers coming in from both sides. Zek now back in that mech, and the Reinhardts are back here. They're still on that respawn chain. The double Transcendence as well as the grab coming through. Shatters in tow, and Ninyo with the grab capitalization lose 4. Gonna be 5 here, and that's gonna be all 6 in there if they're able to push the Zarya here.
I mean, the fight went on so long, they built 2 Graviton Surges, Neon. You want to talk about what sustain gets you? It gets you patience and, a good economy coming out of it, because they have 2 of their 3 support ultimates. They're only missing Beat there. They only have 1. They have the Rally Dynamo. They have 2 tank. They're coming into the tank ultimate. They'll have the Ryan, and they'll have Bomb eventually. But Ninyo does have 2 of their 3 tanks, but no support ultimates. So this is going to be a harder fight for them to win without anything. So they have to play this aggressively, and they throw that out, and they get 1, and that's going to be the end of that, I think, Neon.
And the grab, the bomb do go down. Ninyo's just going to push forward. Dynamo going to be very patient with their ult, not going to use anything, and Ninyo are just able to push way too far forward and take whatever they want.
But they have to, right? Because they know they can't win a long fight, so they have to take a fight early, use that grab and that bomb to win, and they're just going to keep my spawn doors to build up the rest of that ult charge. That was the right choice from Ninyo, and Dynamo now have to deal with them right knocking on their door. They completed the touch the spawn door challenge, I guess, so hey, but Dynamo does have 3 tank ultimates and a shatter already to try and win that fight, but Ninyo's just gonna go ahead and clean it up early.
A double pick right off the bat. You're playing a rotate the ults.
Yeah,
Make it go to overtime.
Yeah, they're cycling this economy so well, and now they're gonna commit a lot in, but Dynamo has the advantage in just sheer numbers, so they're gonna winning that 2 from that bomb is gonna be the key opener for them, Neon.
Yeah, a bunch of picks coming through here. Like already over. Ninyo had nothing to do there, and Dynamo used quite a bit more than they needed to, which is playing into Ninyo's hands really well.
And additionally, they kept him at spawn, so it's not like they were fighting on the cart and able to get any real advantage. So they're going to be able to contest here maybe a little as this corner hits, depending on how it does. Dynamo coming in does have 2 of their 3 support. We'll have the 3rd support ultimate coming into the start of this fight, but only the Reinhardt shatter, so they're going to be able to play a little bit defensively, not aggressively. Ninyo, on the other hand, only has the sound barrier, so they're a little behind in the economy, and they're going to have to make up for it in the big game.
Well, they're definitely going to try and make up for it with an almost pick on the Reinhardt. Sound barrier coming through the rally as well. Shatter and sound barrier coming in from Ninyo here. So a lot of ults being used. Shatter going to come in here from Necromancer. And it's huge. Gets 4 immediately. The Reinhardt is going to go down, followed by a break. And that's just the end of the fight right there. The rest crumble. A few counter picks. Possibility of a stall here. But that unlikely as everyone goes down.
No, 2 minutes on the clock, and they'll get another 2 as they push this around the rest of the streets phase. And they still didn't commit everything if you're Dynamo Hazard, so they're looking good here. They have Grab Bomb to win the next fight and try to aim it on, and they'll start with Transcendence to just keep themselves alive on. Going to try and get the Zarya a little more charged, but Ninyo is coming in with 4 ultimates with 2 of each tank and support. Going to have Trance Rally, so an early rally is going to set this fight off, Neon.
Here, double grabs, bombs coming through, double bombs coming through. You see Transcendence, both of them coming in as well, everything being caught, and no picks from any of that. So now just a straight brawl. Which one of the Reinhardts can get their ult first? It's going to be Necromancer that goes down, and Caleb builds it up. If they need it, they can use it, but the Reinhardt's gone. That's so often a fight win in of itself, and they are going to use it. It takes out, takes down 3. Break 1 health off that. Everyone that went down there, 1 health, and everyone's going to have to retreat. Juicy does go down. Mr. Ben goes down. 2 that went down. 2 that shatter. Go down. The Diva, who's the 3rd, does go down, and Necromancer unable to get back into the spawn doors.
I mean, credit to Ninyo for putting their foot down here. It cost them everything, but are already almost back to everything else. So Dynamo's gonna have the advantage here, with a little bit with that rally to start the fight with, and the shatter to try and look to make the opening pick on. They're gonna get that sound barrier quick too. So Ninyo's mid fight is gonna be important to keeping them from this rolling, Neon.
They're going to be beginning the fight with a rally shatter combination, kind of by the rally. See the Lucio's just there holding their ults, waiting for them to come through. You see the grab through shatter. The sound barrier, all of it coming through. Double sound barriers. Grab now over. Both Transcendents are online. Bomb coming in, countered by the Transcendence. It's gonna get the bomb gonna get the pick onto Ninyo here, and that is a huge pick. The rest of the cookie is gonna start to crumble here. Goes down. The fight's gonna prolong as long as possible. Ninyo will have another fight.
They're managing to save the Transcendence here as they're going to try and clean this up, which is going to be super big for the next fight for them, because that's going to be their first thing they have to deal with, this Diva Bomb. Like, it doesn't really deal with it, but if they can keep that Transcendence a little bit longer while they're building up Rally, they're going to be into a great fight. And the Graviton Surge on the side of Dynamo Hazard's ahead, so that's going to be really important.
They're gonna pop that bomb in very early. The grab coming through, countered by the Transcendence. See Reinhardt go down right off the bat. That is not what you wanted to see. Shatter coming in, gets everyone left alive. 10 seconds left before that under minute happens. And that's gonna be Dynamo taking 3rd with almost pure certainty, but Ninyo able to hold it just long enough to get
didn't make it
in.
I mean, and this is worst case scenario for Ninyo, right? This is almost 2 minutes on the clock. You'll get 1 minute to try to, prevent any sort of, just getting rolled. But it's going to be tough because it took them so long to capture C, and they have to take a strong fight to win on A. If Ninyo can't get an effective take right away and keep this rolling, it's just going to make it harder. Dynamo Hazard with a little bit of an edge here, just in the sense that they've kind of been in control of King's Row. So we'll have to see if they can keep that control rolling as we restart these, Neon, because this is going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, one of the worst case scenarios, Ninyo doesn't have an attack, but 158. There are 3 time banks that are worse than that. 2 minutes, 158, and having none. This is the 4th worst situation for Ninyo here, and that is not where you want to be. Dynamo has almost double coming into this attack here. Ninyo gonna have to pull everything out to even this series up. See if they can do it.
Worst case, you can look for the draw here. A draw is not the worst outcome. You're still behind, but at least it keeps you in the map. Better than going down, 2-0 if you're Ninyo. So let's see the hero in the storm and see who shows up.
Yeah, you see some heroes in this storm indeed. The Ghost Storm coming to Ninyo. Have a minute to attack here. A lot of damage already being applied. The D.Va almost dead right off that with a good Discord and a lot of focus fire down on that opening choke. It's going to be immediately the Reinhardt goes down, and that's just going to be the ult charge of Dynamo just going up. Ninyo having a hard time, going to have to reset here.
It's going to be quick, and this is worst case. You still got time. You have a chance to reset this, get one more fight. You don't really have any ultimates. You're a third of the way on most of yours. And meanwhile, Dynamo does have their Reinhardt Shatter, so Necromancer's Shatter is going to be the biggest thing that can hit here, and it has to be big if they want to hold this.
So that one ult is going to be a huge advantage. The other ults, Dynamo has the ult economy advantage as it goes on. Pick advantage that they might not have. Dynamo extremely low, and they're going to lose Necromancer before the Shatter comes online at 99, 98. Just barely gets up after they die. First tick is taken, so there will not be a draw unless it goes all the way to 3rd double time.
And that's the best case scenario, right? That's the best case scenario, right? Like, you have to, you avoided the draw, which means you at least have a win condition now because you have the cart moving. So, hey, that's great. Take a breath, keep going. You have ultimates. You're coming into 4, including all 3 of your support ultimates, but they're going to keep them right on spawn as those ultimates come out and gets 2.
Bomb coming in, gets a tank line almost completely decimated here. The rest of these portals being used from Ninyo trying to keep this fight alive. The respawn's coming in. They could build that grab in. But the rest of Dynamo have those ults. The support ult line coming in. The bomb coming in. Trying to from Ninyo trying to get something. Doesn't get anything at all. Grab coming in as well. Going to be countered by the Transcendence here. Shatter coming in from Ninyo as a last-ditch effort to try and do something here. There's too much on the point. The Transcendence and all the damage. And Dynamo able to hold right at the beginning of the payload.
So yeah, there's a win con for Ninyo, right? Like, you have the ability to just not let them unlock the point, and then they go. But the problem is that if you unlock the point here, it's almost basically over, right? Because if you lose the fight, you have to rush right back. Like, it almost would have been better in some ways to let them get some space out, because at least then you have a chance to take a fight as opposed to unlocking the point. But then if you get wiped immediately, it's just gone. So I'm hesitant. It's great that they stopped it. You kind of almost like this. We'll see what happens when they do this. Both Zenyatta's still nothing exciting changes on either side, and a minute extra, almost 2 minutes for Dynamo Hazard is going to be the difference. They have a little more time to breathe, build up ults to win the fight, and once they just win the fight, it may say the end for Ninyo on King's Row.
Yeah, Dynamo have the time to build up all 6 ults, put the death nail into this map. Ninyo, all it takes is one big wipe. And even if it begins at the very beginning of the 0%, they will not be able to get back in time. Maybe a Lucio just could get there, but it's going to be very unlikely.
And that's the thing, is you might want to have, like, I know you couldn't really do much more, but that was smart play by Dynamo Hazard, because now the win con is for them is well within sight. All they have to do is just cap point. So the right amount of pushes and the right amount of aggressive plays from Dynamo Hazard is going to win it, Neon.
And they're going to be extremely aggressive right off the bat. Already touching the point, putting in a huge amount of damage, taking even more damage, going almost dead right off the bat, almost losing Necromancer on the runner.
Ooh.
1 health, the heals come through, but it's going to be a longer heal time than usual when you're able to stave off that first attack. For now, at least building up a lot of ult charge, and now the second part of this fight underway, right onto the point. The score's immediately going out, flying out here on damage. And Dynamo, once again, backing up, just seemingly trying to play for the ult economy here. And immediately, Cactus is going to go down, but not before getting that grab out. And the capitalize on the grab is not going to get anything. Actually, no, they do get the round. Who was stuck in that grab. Sounder come through, Shadow coming through. Gets the 3. The Transcend is going to keep everyone alive here. Counter grab going to come through, gets eaten by Gravity. A huge eat right there.
Big eat. Holy crap.
Coming through, Sound Barrier Rally. Take out the rallying Ninyo. Sound Barrier no longer in effect. Rally still coming up from Ben. It's just driving, getting huge hits here. Coming into 40 seconds left, the respawns are going to be there. Ninyo will have a shot at defending this, but it is not looking good.
No, and it's going to have to be a quick because they don't have long to go. There's only a couple seconds for this cart. They know they have to push right away, and that early stun is going to be problematic as the bomb goes in, Neon. But it gets 2! It gets 2, Neon! Ninyo has just done it!
Yeah, huge bomb coming through. And it's just barely out of it. The stun actually took Caleb out of that shatter. Right now, Dynamo and Ninyo have both transcendences up. It's going to be a shatter versus a grab here as the overtime ticks away. They're going to have to come on the point, and it's going to be a wicked fight. Immediately, Dynamo using that transcendence to keep the fight alive. Shatter coming through, gets the entirety of the backline of the grab, and transcendence to keep everyone alive. They will get capitalized on that huge shatter, and immediately, Dynamo going to lose their grip. That is a huge pick off the bat. 1.60 meters. That's how far away it is, and the picks coming through. Necro, Juicy, Mech, Siberian trying to keep everyone alive, but the grab coming through as well. Nothing capitalized on it. The counter shatter coming through, and Ninyo able to hold this.
That's incredible. They are literally on the spawn doorsteps, Neon, and they were able to hold that out and prevent that from losing. That's incredible. I genuinely cannot believe Ninyo was able to take that W, tie up this match. Wow. What a... I mean, that's why they're 6-1, right? Like, that's why they were going into this as, like, the #1 seed, because of that level of play and decision-making. And I regret second-guessing that. I think that was just... Apparently, they have way more IQs than I could ever dream of having, Neon, for that kind of decision-making.
Yeah, they got it when everything really said that they shouldn't be able to take it there. Huge plays with the counter grab to make sure no one can be taken from that shatter. The bomb coming initiated. Just everything went right for Ninyo in the last 2 fights, tying the series up. We're going to be in here for the long haul, but make sure to stay right where you are. We'll be back after this short intermission for map 3 and 4. Remember, this finals go to 1st to 4, so we will have those map 3, map 4, and at least a map 5 coming into here. So stay right there. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We are here for map 3 and 4. It is the Neon Project here with...
So, Dan, good to see you. Neon, what a round of just games we've had so far. It's 1-1 right now between these two teams. Between Ninyo is hot and Dynamo's here. And it's just been a wild ride. Map 1, Li Zhang was just back and forth, and King's Row was even down to the wire right outside the payload gates. Like, this is just going to be a heck of a match here, and I'm excited to see what happens as we go on to map 3, right? Because this is now 2CP. Nobody likes this mode, but I think we all know where we're going, right? Like, I'm sure you'll be shocked to know we're going to Volskaya Industries, Neon. Like, surprising, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm shocking, you know. Even less high grounds to worry about, even more choke points to be concerned about, and you know, we haven't seen a lot of variations of stuff. We did see an Ana pop up once, but this is definitely a map where you want the Zenyatta. You have those longer sight lines, and you have the ability to get a little bit more safety for your Zenyatta. So I don't expect to see a lot of changes, but I do think this is where you want the Zenyatta over everything, Neon.
Yeah, Zenyatta works extremely well on Volskaya, the best Russian map of the game. A lot of long sight lines and very close quarters for that Zen to get all their damage in and to get the discords on as well. There's no damage drop off. So Zen really does shine when they take a very far back position, able to just pelt one after another. And if they go all 5, able to get some insta kill capabilities on the other supports. So definitely have to see, watch out for those Zens. Possibly a bit of swap there for stalls, but this should be a heavy Zen compositions as we come into map number 3, Volskaya Industries.
Yeah, and I think that it's going to also be important the positioning these teams take, because especially on point 2, like map point 1, point A here is very open. You can kind of like see it, and we've all seen it if you played Overwatch before. But it's just wide open. Like if you are trancing in the wide open, everybody in your team is going to get healing. But on point 2, if you are around the wrong corner or blocked by the wrong wall, you're just not going to get that healing. So at the same time, you got to be aware of your positioning, and that's really what will win you these GOATS fights in 2CP, especially Volskaya, is going to be the positioning you take and where you start those fights, Neon, because those fights are going to be, the positioning is just always key when nothing can die.
It is always important to go to come on this map. That positioning really does shine. You said it better about it when Zen takes a nice far back position, and immediately the positions are right at the gates here. A lot of just aggression being played here. Reinhardt, Necro immediately kind of caught out. Shield gone. Just damage coming through. Taken out. Counter pick onto the Diva Mecca. That's not going to be enough here. We're going to have to get something else. Poppy goes down as well. And that's almost Ninyo almost putting the death nail in, and third on to Mr. Ben. And they're just going to have free reign of the point from here on.
That's the opposite of how you play GOATS, Neon. You shouldn't have anybody caught out at any time, and that's just going to be a bop to the head for the Zarya there for Cactus, and they'll go back to spawn. But I guess in some regards, that's not the worst case scenario. They only have Trance going into this. The rest of their ults are still coming on, so it looks like a reset coming in. Sure, I don't question it, but I guess that's going to be the thing. Yeah, they're going to go in with Trance. They're going to have 3 ults. They're going to have Grab. They're going to get Grab and Shatter as they go into this, so that's going to be important for Ninyo to push this forward. Meanwhile, they're just getting... Gravik's just going to get that bomb, and it's going to be very, very late this fight. They're coming into these ults, and Graviton's going to have to be big. Grab Bomb's going to be big for Dynamo if they can make this work.
Yeah, after a bit of a weird play there, we're going to see this grab countered by the Transcendence, but it's not going to get everyone in there. Almost a few picks coming through. Bradley coming through, the Shatter coming through, gets through the bomb a bit afterwards. Going to be right out in the open, gets the Lucia Reinhardt down as well, and that's just going to be the rest of the team pushing in onto the last remnants of Ninyo.
Just great setup. They caught the Shatter Bomb. It worked. You kind of, if I dare critique it, I guess you could have started the bomb earlier, but, they got the pick out of it, and that's what they wanted. Now they're just cleaning and pushing Staggers back. So Dynamo's going to have 2 of their 3 support. Also, they'll get that late beat, that late sound barrier in the middle of it, so they'll be defensively pretty rock solid here. Ninyo, on the other hand, does have Shatter and Graviton Surge. If they play it right, they'll get bomb before this starts, so they'll have some aggressive ultimates going into this Neon, so we'll have to see which is stronger, the aggressive attack or the defensive rocks.
We'll have to see. They're gonna come in, dropping down to the low ground, gonna take that fight right on the point, kind of just saying to the people on the ground, we don't care about you. Immediately the Reinhardt goes down, Grab coming out, rallying Transcendence to counter that, and Ninyo have to back up. They do not have the Reinhardt, they have the speakers to get out this time. Unlike last time, they're gonna lose their Brig before they get out, but able to get out more.
And that was a good reset. That's good disengage from them. They know that the Brig's out, and that's a lot of your healing and good utility gone, so they're just going to have to wait that out and reset. But they also didn't commit too much. They're going to have 4 ultimates by the time this fights. They're going to be missing Gravitation Surge, so Shatter Bomb's going to have to be a big key for Ninyo again. But meanwhile, they didn't commit. Dynamo didn't commit their Graviton Surge, so they're going to have to be able to use it in the right spot to get advantage of it.
And the ult's gonna come through the huge bomb coming in. Takes out Poppy, grabs. Mech is gone as well. The other ult's coming through just to keep the fight out, just sustain here. And Dynamo just lose everyone. They're gonna have to go out the side here. They're gonna come back and with those ults, Ninyo have a really good shot. They might just be able to take it all through without any contest. There is gonna be a bit of contest coming through. The sound barrier can come through. Shatter comes through as well. Gets completely blocked. The other ults being built up. We speak, they might be able to get used here, but they're not going to be able to get in on time.
And desperation mode is
take it.
Yeah, desperation mode just kicked in there for Dynamo Hazard. The charge was a little bit like wobbly, like you didn't really get anybody, but then to try to swing and just yeet your shatter into that was rough. I know you're trying to make a play there, but you kind of needed that to make any sort of play if you're gonna. You needed to not just whiff it if you're gonna make any sort of play and recover there. So Dynamo Hazard a little shooken there. 3 minutes on the clock for Ninyo if it even goes around. But I mean Ninyo's hot just looked pretty dominant there. They were able to pair their plays, their ultimates well. They got such value out of those Diva bombs. And there's just a great performance from Ninyo, so Dynamo is going to have to step it up and push it there.
Yeah, and incredibly good. And they're off the map again.
The old tactical reset, I suppose, as it were. And I mean, sure, they're just goofing at this point. They're feeling good, right? Like they took it with 3 minutes on the clock. They're feeling good. They know they can make it back. You have speed boost, and even if you're not fully there waiting, you know. You're fine. Like, there's just, you have speed boost, you can take it wherever. But the memes are there, I suppose. So, if nothing else, enjoy them while you can.
Yeah, there's also a small psychological advantage of that. We have the time. Me and you're saying we have the time to go off the map. That's how little we think of you. That is a small psychological advantage in their head and in Dynamo's head as well. That could play a small but crucial factor as we go into the later stages of this series. Ooh. But immediately, Ninyo lose their Zen and their break right off the map. The psychological advantage not coming in at all yet. Diva D-Mac here is already going to be pushed down to death. And Dynamo taking it as quickly as Ninyo did first time around.
Hubris, thy name is Ninyo is hot because, well, that's unfortunately just kind of how it goes, and they'll pay for it with point A, I guess. No real ultimates, unfortunately. They didn't build up a lot either. They're going to have Shatter, and that's going to be their only tool going into this, so it's going to have to be a big Shatter to make the stop, because meanwhile, on the side of Dynamo, they don't have anything quite on lock, but, you know, almost all of their ults are over 50%, so that means they'll get them in the mid-fight, and, man, that's unfortunate. That's just unfortunate for Ninyo.
Yeah, well, Ninyo have one saving grace here. Their Reinhardt is the highest ult percentage in the game. If that comes through, that will allow them to get whatever they can. But immediately, right, goes down, and what's that they do? Goes down immediately, like right over.
No.
15 mech here. The ult's gonna be built up for the respawning. They're stalling it out. Dynamo just need to just hold this. That was incredible.
They won't even get there, will they?
Coming through.
It has to be last second. And the bridge just died. No one could make it. Oh, man. Wow, the hubris is real. And, well, everybody put your seatbelts back in. We're going for round 2. And, you know, 4 minutes to 2 minutes is a lot of time still left in the bank, because those are some pretty dominant performances. I guess they got the memo from the first round that they wanted to see them play for real, and they sure will. Yeah, the swaps came in from that. We're probably not going to see that Moira come out there again. That was probably just to get there faster, and especially because there was no ultimates they had. They really didn't really have anything going into that, right? Like they had the one. They were just getting their ultimates, and they just couldn't hold versus what was coming in front of them. So Dynamo Hazard are going to have to do it again, just a better hold this time. They only have 2 minutes to hold down, and I think they can do it given that last incredible performance there. Meanwhile, Ninyo, I mean, they have to be taking it seriously now, right, Neon? Like, even if you were just joking around before, you got pretty beat up and pretty hard, so you gotta give it your 100%. No memeing now.
No, they're gonna have to go in with something here. Double down by more than double here. Double and 16 extra seconds on top of that. That's an entire extra
time around, yeah.
Off.
Yeah, that's an entire extra, set of this. So they can't afford to waste a bunch of time, so that likely they'll have about 2 to 3 fights. So let's see if Ninyo can push aggressively here and get the value that they're looking for.
They're gonna have to try and get something here. Discord's coming through a lot of damage onto Zaki. Able to survive here, gets a bunch of healing. They have huge healing in the good compositions. Now they're going to start taking a bit more forward ground. Able to take immediately. The Zen goes down for Ninyo. That's not what you want to see when you have so little attack time compared to the enemy. But the counter Reinhardt goes down. Necro falls. Drake falls as well. Cactus goes down. It's just 1 for 1. They're just trading. which of the trades are better? Ninyo finally lose their Reinhardt, and that's going to be the beginning of the end, most likely for Ninyo, but they could very easily get another trade to even this up. And the Diva gonna get team-matched for Ninyo, and Zeki goes down. That's gonna be Dynamo holding 1 minute left on clock.
The Zen is not the worst pick to get in reality, because you do have some, like, it's not your main source of healing, it's bigger burst healing, but like losing your Zen was still a winnable fight. It's once the Reinhardt's fell that really we saw everything over. And Dynamo Hazard gonna have Transcendence and Rally basically as this fight starts, so that's gonna be a bigger defensive advantage for them as the defenders here. Meanwhile, Ninyo is gonna have Sound Barrier, but they're gonna have to play this a little bit slower just to make sure they can build up the ultimates they need to win this fight, Neon.
They have to do something here. This is possibly last fight territory. We know how long these fights go on. It took him 30 seconds just to get back here. The ult's coming through. We're going to see that Sound Barrier to initiate the fight. A huge header into the backline of Ninyo, but no one's really going to capitalize. The Reinhardt does go down off that. Brig 1 health, going to rally it up. Does die. And Dynamo very quickly making good work of this. Transcendence to get out. Draft coming through. You saw the rally coming through from Dynamo as well. And 10 seconds left to cause an overtime here. They might not be able to do it.
I don't think they can touch here, and that was great decision. I know Lucio's going to come out from the woodworks. Nitro's going to make it as the bomb comes in, but it's not going to find anybody, so they've activated overtime, Neon.
Yeah, the overtime is there. And the huge header coming through, but there's no one left alive to capitalize on it. Bombs, Sound Barrier coming through to make sure Dynamo does take this. A huge header, but just no one left to take it. A great attempt at the overtime, and the ults, they almost were there, but it's not enough.
No,
Ninyo,
and
gonna be in a hard spot.
And great decision making from Dynamo Hazard. When they hit that shatter on the side of Necromancer, they realized the Reinhardt wasn't in there, but most of the supports were, and they realized that the Rein was isolated elsewhere, so they were able just to turn around and immediately focus out the Reinhardt there, and that was just the correct pick because that snowballed everything else to follow the rest of to fell the rest of the team. There was no one to keep up, block damage, and now they're staring down a 4-minute clock, Neon, where they face another loss here, and it brings Dynamo up 2-1 and putting them even closer to taking these finals. And you can't, there's just this is such an ask, but counterpoint, hey, we've seen this before, right? Ninyo did this literally just a map ago. They managed to stop that on King's Row, so I don't write off a 4-minute hold to get, a draw is the best case scenario, I believe, here. So I don't write off a 4-minute hold.
Yeah, no doubt. They could very easily mess this up. They have a 99% chance of winning. They just need to build up 6 holds and then do a dry push, not use any, get a few ults from Ninyo, and then go in with the 6. They have the win condition in front of them, but Ninyo can very toughly take this with an amazing hold here, and they're going to try something different. They're going to hold up on a high ground here. We'll see if that works.
Interesting. They want to fight back and force the respawns to be a little bit longer, make them play to them, make them play to Ninyo, and they're willing to take the fight on their terms, Dynamo Hazard, so let's see what they do here, because the point is free, and they're going to contest it. They're going to send the Diva down to contest it, which is the right play, and there's 2 boops already! Unbelievable!
Huge! That's it right there. The boops seal the deal. There's nothing Ninyo really can do without any hero plays, and you can't really have huge hero plays without ults in goads. And Dynamo able to take map number 2, the best Russian map in the game, full sky.
Poppy just absolutely popped right off there. I mean, but that's the disadvantage of playing that far back, right? Is you put yourself in a position for that. So if you weren't awares, and Reinhardt specifically doesn't have that steadfast yet because of the patch we're playing this on. But everybody else that does get booped there just has to deal with it, and that's so unfortunate. Dynamo Hazard, such an incredibly strong performance, and showing them they truly are the strongest this side of, the Russian foundries.
Yeah, Ninyo gonna have to answer back with something. We did see Dynamo take the first map. Ninyo were able to answer back with the second. Dynamo taking the third. Can Ninyo keep that small series up with an answer back on map number 4? We'll see what that map is. I hear
we're going to Rialto.
Yeah, there it is. Rialto. That is the general pick that most teams go with.
Yeah, another shocker, right? Like Rialto. There is high ground. You don't really need to contest it. You'll send your Diva up there to get some positioning, but pretty flat, pretty linear again. But then again, now here's this option here. this is very linear. There's a lot of just narrow streetways and a lot of straight sightlines. You might like the Ana here for the fact that you can just kind of sit them way far back, not put them in the brawl, fire in, get that more burst healing in, and then you still have access to anti-nade. So if these teams were going to opt into Ana, I think this is the map they do it. But I'm not going to hold my breath on that. We've seen mostly Zen, and I think that's still the correct call.
Yeah, that is the call you are most likely going to have with this Rialto as we start to get into that map. Just so much sightlines that yes, you can run an Ana, but there's a bit high ground you can run the Ana. It's possibly one of the better Ana maps.
Yeah.
Zen, just so much efficient, lethal potency of damage and discords coming through. Yep. And you have the good spots to use a Zen. It's
absolutely.
A bit harder to get out.
Yeah, you remember Zen is really immobile and there's no real escapes for him, so your Lucio's got to stay close to him to make sure they can move, and yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't have expected any sort of a change out of this, so we'll have to see what happens here, because Ninyo's just kind of stumbled, and that was quite a stumbling block on Volskaya, so they have to make up for it here, Neon, and this is their chance to do it right now, push this payload all the way to the end, and then keep Dynamo from doing it.
Dynamo though gonna come with a really good defense. You're holding a high ground now, going down on the bottom. They're gonna try everything they can to put this 3-1 into a match point situation. Ninyo though coming out swinging here, a lot of damage being applied right off a lot of point. The point's being pushed really far forward. Usually you don't see the point getting this far forward without being contested, but it is now finally being contested here. Damage is being applied with those discords everywhere. Ninyo looking for something. They need to get that early pick if they really want to push this all the way.
And they're this is goats. We're still building up ultimates, but Dynamo got there first, so this is probably where they're going to look. And that shatter comes down, and the graviton comes out, and that's going to be the end of it as the D.Va gets D-Mech Neon. That's going to be it. And the bomb's just going to be the icing on the cake, I suppose. In some parts, they'll see them back to spawn, hopefully.
Yeah, there's not much left you can do. You get ulted first. That's it. Ninyo gonna have to come back in with ults of their own, which they will have. But it's gonna be quite a challenge with the ults Dynamo have built up.
Yeah, and you said it. Dynamo already has 3. They're gonna get the last ones of the fight, considering they already are almost halfway to another graviton surge. They'll have 2 of these pros, but there's an early pick on a Poppy, and that's not good. That's a go button for Ninyo, and they're gonna commit their ults. They've gotten win here.
They're just going to use everything they can off that early first pick. The shatter coming through gets everyone except for Poppy, who isn't even there. Huge. Everyone on the point in the fight is just down. The rally's coming through as well from both sides. Coming with that bomb. The Zen gets juicy. Necromancer falls as well. And Ninyo finally going to just push heavily into the almost spawn doors here. Everyone goes down that.
Great decision making from Zeki D there to get themselves past the Rhine, drop the bomb, and then while the Rhine was trying to back up, while Necromancer was trying to back up, he didn't know where to put his shield on. So hey, good on him. That was the correct play. They were rewarded for it, and let's see what happens, because they're gonna try and hold the top of the stairs. And I don't know, like, this is the common fight point here, and this is the right place to hold, but with the ultimates on the sides of, because both teams have Graviton Surge, but there's Trance versus Sound Barrier, so this is going to be, we're going to have to see which is the more effective at stopping the follow from these Gravitons.
Oh, the Grav's coming through. We see them all get used. This shatter coming through. Grav gets eaten as well. A huge eat. The support line of Ninyo is dead very quickly early on in that fight. That's going to be the end of the fight as it is. Everyone's going to go off that. Doesn't want to see the Neil charge.
It turns out the most dominant Graviton Surge is the one that actually lands, right? Like, if yours gets eaten, you just can't win the fight. That's just the way it is. Gravitic gonna have bomb, and they're gonna start with a rally for the Dynamo Hazard, so that'll be their aggressive play, is to try to give everybody armor and go forward onto that. But Ninyo, little bit behind there. They have the shatter. They're gonna try and get this Graviton up to try to get the pressure in. So hopefully they rally appropriately.
We'll see if they can. They use that rally bomb coming in as well. Ninyo's support line is decimated once again. It's only the break left. The shatter comes through, try and get something. It's not going to get anything. They do go down. Becky gonna get D-Mag here as well. Everyone falling off. The Dynamo look dominant on this.
And that's what makes Zarya so essential to this comp, right? Just the damage, the sheer amounts of damage you get in Zarya is so important to just putting the resources into it, getting a Graviton Surge, and winning the fight on it. And they're pushing. Ninyo's pushing a little bit up. They don't quite have the team, and they need to be a little bit careful of that. Ninyo does have Graviton Surge, though. They're going to get Rally, and they're probably going to look to aggressively push with that Rally into Graviton there. Meanwhile, Dynamo does have Trance for it, and they're going to, right up into them, and they're going to force it out early, Neon.
Yeah, an immediate early grab. Transcendence Cactus does go down through all that and immediately push on a Juicy, who's going to get taken out. Huge play coming in from Ninyo. Just holding forward. Necro falls as well. And Ninyo going to be able to really make a lot of progress. Take this second point.
Yeah, that'll give them with that. And Dynamo didn't really commit too much, so they're going to have a little bit more of a heal in the ground at this point with having 2 of their 3 tank ults. They're missing Diva Bomb there, that self-destruct. And having Sound Barrier will be very, very big for what's coming out, because on the other side, Ninyo is literally just buried in support ultimates, so they're going to be better in the longer fight. So the Diva Bombs are going to be the decider here, Neon, of what team comes out on top.
Yeah, they're great. Diva Bomb can do all the work. Shatter going to get something, I believe just Zarya Graph coming through to counter that bomb. Transcendence, rallies, sound barriers, all of it coming through. Juicy does go down, a pin coming in, able to take out Ninyo's Reinhardt. The Shatter comes through, uncontested, gets everyone left. A huge play from Necromancer, single-handedly ending the fight with a bit of capitalization.
And you can see the Rhine just going ham. Necromancer just having a field day. Knew he ended that on that Shatter. And great, I called it there, but like the great pin away from the Rhine to isolate Celeb there was important, because that focused, that left everybody else of that Shatter just basically free. But so now they only have, Dynamo only have that Diva self-destruct to work with. They're going to get, looks like Transcendence probably before this fight happens, but Ninyo has the barrage, and they're gonna, they have the Graviton Surge. They're gonna look to commit that early and try to get an advantage, but they're stunned out of it. No follow-up.
Yeah, but they still do get it, even though the stun comes through, the bomb coming through as well. It comes in time just to outlast the Transcendence, which doesn't get used because it's not there. Picks coming through on a Dynamo. They lose 3-4 there. Ninyo gonna come into this possible last fight here. Dynamo have one more attack here, but it's not looking good on the ult economy.
No, that's going to be the early rally, and they're going to have to use the Shatter and hopefully this Trance to make it work. And that Shatter's going to take out Juicy immediately, and that's going to signal the end of that. Oh no, Neon. That's cataclysmical when they die to the Shatter itself. It's just, that's it. It's going to be clean up here. They're going to commit the rest of these ults, and it's just going to be finishing up these stragglers that come in.
Yeah, but Dynamo gonna have all 3 of those portals used to sustain through the fight. They're gonna have the respawns coming in. They might be able to, especially if they can get that Shatter off, which they do, but it doesn't get anything. Ninyo taking heavy casualties here. They are building up the Shatter. They use the Sound Barrier as well. They're gonna try and take this here. It is still anyone fight here, favoring the defense team. The longer it goes on, but Dynamo take heavy loss. Thanks to Caleb on that Reinhardt. That is gonna be the deal sealer right there, but it was almost a hold.
I mean, they had the ults to try to contest it, but just with the sheer numbers and the sheer just force that Ninyo came in there, whew, like that was a spicy fight there. And there, you've got a minute, so I guess that nothing else, you'll get some time back on this around, as long as if it goes around, I should say. There's a good chance they could hold Dynamo and just prevent it and keep us tied up going into map 5 here. So if Ninyo continues to play kind of like they have, they will be able to do this out. But Dynamo has just continued to be strong, right? Like winning fights with just that Shatter or 1 or 2 ultimates and getting the value has been their kind of bread and butter of these fights. So Ninyo needs to continue to play better and put the teamwork into effect there, because they're playing well as a unit, but they need to complete and isolate those kills to really keep themselves going and to keep Dynamo from getting to the end in that glorious box of reset.
They'll have the opportunity to get some isolation kills here. They are on the defense. They can pick and choose when they take this fight, really, where they ambush and where they do what they do. Dynamo, they're going to have something of a hard time pushing all the way to 3rd. We saw them do it on King's Row with 1:58 left on the clock. Ninyo gonna at least have another attack no matter what. not fearing that.
No, they'll get one more chance, and this is going to be a hold coming up from the side. Going to try. They tried this last time on Kings Row. It didn't pay off for them, but they're going to take an aggressive hold. This is what I was expecting. Neon was an aggressive hold right at the gates to try to buy the time as much as they can.
And it's what you see most often in these goats matches on Rialto, just an immediate spawn hold door, and it's seeming to work for the time being. Ninyo not dying, but also not getting any picks here. Just the exact what they want. The stall coming through. And a huge ult charge being built up. Oh. Huge header on the back. Go and get the picks onto the Zen and onto the Lucio. Huge coming through. The break dies as well. Gets stunned through the tanks, able to back up. But that is not much when your tanks are gone. And Grab are going to get demech and kill.
You'll love to see the aggressive nature of it, and it's paying off for them, right? Like, they're just stuck in spawn. They have to wait till they get a full 6, and they're still just figuring out how do we get out of here, and they're going to opt to what looks like the high ground, which should be an interesting point because it's going to be harder to reach them, but it's also going to be harder. They're going to have to drop to commit this shatter at some point, Dynamo Hazard, but they're going to wait until that Gravitas Surge comes up. Meanwhile, they've committed Rally on the side of Ninyo, and they have their own Gravitas Surge ready and waiting.
And it is waiting indeed below everybody. The moment they come down, they're going to get grabbed. And it comes through. Huge shattering combination coming in onto Ninyo. Just takes them all out before anything is even able to be done here. Just so quick and efficient.
Great pairing. And it's hard to get a team like that quick in GOATs, right? Like, there's just so much sustain. All you need to do is just you have to usually fight. These are longer fights, but that was over so quick from just hitting the shatter and the grab. So they committed 2 to win that. They'll have all three of their support ults for the next fight to keep this rolling. But Ninyo didn't commit anything, so they have their Graviton Surge to hopefully win this fight on, in addition to the 2 support ultimates and the Diva Bomb they're going to get as this is breaking in.
And we're going to see those ults come through. Bombs, Transcendence, Rallies, grabs, all of it coming in. Ninyo going to have their ults coming into the later parts of the fight. They do lose the break. Double sound barriers coming through to sustain this fight out. Still, that Transcendence is up, but it's going to go down.
No, it dies with
not be able to get used. Both Reinhardts do fall as well. DP going to get DMAC, and Ninyo, 1 health, does get taken out. Dynamo going to start really being able to push this. They're going to try and make a run for first. I'm not sure Ninyo can get on to the point again.
No, who dying with Transcendence was so valuable. That was such an important pick because that trance would have actually kept them in even longer. That was their one advantage they had going into this, and instead it's going to be the push through A over the bridge and into Shree's phase where, well, Dynamo Hazard's going to have Shatter and they'll get Graviton Surge as they meet on the stairs to say hello. And Ninyo's going to, well, they kept the Transcendence, so I guess you have that and Graviton Surge going into this, so at least you have an answer for the Shatter or the Graviton that comes out. Whereas Dynamo just doesn't really have anything. They're still so far away from support ultimates, Neon.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on every single point there. Ninyo can start using that grab, looking for something, doesn't quite get anything as far as the bomb coming in. Yeah, the grab as well. The Transcendence coming in. The pin comes through. Doesn't get anything. And now they're going to try and get whatever they can. Ninyo has an advantage coming in this. But as this fight goes on, the ult's on the line for both teams. A Rally and a Shatter. Shatter gets blocked here.
Nothing.
The counter Shatter going to come through. Get blocked by the wall. But gets through. They push through. It's still got it. It's still got what they wanted. The pick's coming through on the Dynamo Hazard. That's exactly what they need. The Rally Center are coming through as well. Into the end of that fight, Ninyo able to make a good defense now.
And it looks like we've had an unfortunate timeout, so their Dynamo's gonna be fighting down one, which does not bode well for them. You're missing they're gonna sacrifice the. Oh no, I'm saying they were down for a hot minute there. They were down someone at a time. Poppy made it back, so I was say they almost played down their Lucio, but that's still unfortunate. They're gonna go into this with Trance and Grab. They thankfully didn't commit those into this. But meanwhile, Ninyo does have Grab Bomb, so they're gonna look for that as their win condition. But with no defensive ultimates on their side, this is gonna be harder for them to sustain through Dynamo Hazard's push.
Dynamo, they have that Lucio backup, and there was no ult charge lost from that disconnect here. We see the Grab Bomb Transcendence, all of it coming in. You're gonna see Ninyo go down as well as the break. Para and Caleb just one after another. Ninyo not looking good at this fight.
The GOATs thrives in these smaller spaces, right? Like when everybody's just in the same space and you can just lob Zarya alternate fires and swing Rhinehammers and break flails. Like that's just, you win. Like that's where exactly you want to be. But unfortunately, Dynamo Hazard only going into this with just that sound barrier. So they're going to have to keep that versus the Shatter and the Transcendence, who's been holding on to this Transcendence forever. They need to commit it at the right time, and it's just so unfortunate they've gone through 2 or 3 fights, and they're going to commit it into the fight itself right early.
And they're coming through double shatters, sound barrier, transcendence, all of it getting used. Bomb going into somewhere in the back line. You're trying to get a lot. Gets through on the Zen. That is a huge first pick into this fight. Rally coming in on the Ben, who is extremely low. Gonna get the backup from the ultimate. You can take Ninyo out as well before they die in the back line. You can now just focus fire on the point, and they have it here with a minute left on the clock. Add a minute and a half for that.
Dynamo just looking very strong here. They're refusing to give this up, but that's going to be the last cleanups they'll take B. And, you know, they're going into this last bit of time, 2 tank ultimates. They're only missing the self-destruct, and they have Transcendence. So they're in a good position going into this fight to take an advantageous play. Shatter Bomb's big for them. They've won on it before. Meanwhile, Ninyo does have Shatter Bomb also, but they've not found the successes that they have on map 1 and 2, right? They were able to win fights alone with that, and Ninyo themselves will get Graviton Surge, so all 3 of these tank ultimates going to have to come up big, because only that sound barrier is going to be the thing that saves them here.
We're going to see both those tank ults coming up, possibly big here, double grabs coming through, able to take a Luciar as the sound barrier comes through, double Transcendence are online. You see Shatters in, coming through, takes the tank line out of Ninyo, and the bomb to capitalize on that as well. Takes 2. That's it for Ninyo. Dynamo just has too many ults.
And that's the economy, right? And Dynamo's going to go in. They'll have 2 of their support ultimates online. They'll have Beat and Rally, and those will be so big to keeping them finishing this. Meanwhile, Ninyo only has that bomb. They didn't commit it, and they'll have to hope this Rally comes quicker than later.
Yeah, well, that Rally coming up, immediately getting used here. The bomb coming through. The counter Rally and the counter sound barrier not going to be there. At the bomb is over. Mr. Ben and Necro both go down. Ninyo gets traded, but Juicy Bun gets traded on top of that. Ninyo looking like they're going to be able to hold this here with a minute left on the clock. But Cactus in the back line, sneaking around, looking for that C9.
They're going to try and do it, but Cactus is just unfortunately just going to see themselves back to spawn. They wish they could take the charge with them, and Gravitate's just going to go out there back as well. There's only 1 minute on the clock here, Neon, so this is going to be an important last fight for them. Dynamo doesn't have much. They have this Graviton Surge, so it's going to have to be big, and everything else is coming in the mid-fight, but they are going to be very behind on the Rally there. Meanwhile, Ninyo already does have Transcendence. They've been sitting on it, and they still have Grav Shatter here. So they're a little ahead, and likely the chances of tools they can use to win this fight out faster.
We're gonna see Ninyo. They had the defensive advantage as well, with a spawn being right there. Dynamo had 1 fight to take this. Ninyo could very easily come back in with a respawn. They're gonna use a Shatter, doesn't get anything at all. And they keep
the Grav's on.
going. You see the counter Shatter come through, gets all 6, but the Grav gonna make sure no one can get anything. The counter Grav, bomb, Transcendence, all of it being used. Both Transcendences. Mr. Ben does go down. Counter bomb gonna come through, and it takes Bobby, grab it, out. Necromancer down as well, and no one came back out of the point. Ninyo able to hold, taking map number 4 Rialto.
Good on Ninyo. They were able to put themselves into the ground and not let it go. They went into that last fight with those ultimates in their bag to give themselves that specific advantage, and then just tack on the pure advantage of just having your spawn right next door to you, and it was a bound success for them. So good on them. They tied this up going into this finals match here, first to 4. So we still got a couple more to go, but man, what a set we've been a part of, Neon. 2-2 going into map 5 and we're back to control now. So let's remember, Dynamos took control, so they in theory might have an edge here, but it depends where we're going, right? Because now Lijiang Tower is out of the pool. Now we have to go to somewhere else that you probably didn't scrim, but I guess we'll see where that happens, right? We'll see where we end up next time.
Yeah, and next time indeed is going to be map 5 and 6. We will definitely have that because it is first to 4. So stay right there. We will be back in a short intermission break here. We're not going to go anywhere. We hope you don't go anywhere. We'll see you in 5 minutes. We are back just a tad bit early, a minute 40 seconds early. We are just so excited to bring these 2 next maps to you. We had to bring it back early. It is a Neon Broja here with
Danum. And Neon, I cannot, like you said, we're here early. I couldn't wait to see this. There's just so much back and forth, and there's so much to consider for this. So I literally could not be waiting anymore. for. And we're going to go to Busan, which I think is kind of the number 2 choice for a lot of these Ghost teams. There's still a high ground, but there's not too much to advantage depending where you're going. And honestly, some of the downtown where you don't have to worry about snipers, it kind of just becomes similar to a lot of the other maps. You know, if you don't have to worry about defending on a high ground, you kind of just play the game and take the fights where you want them. But every map, again, kind of has these different points where you want them. And I think the only one you really, no one really wants to play on point for these ones. You kind of have those spawn points, those doors that open and close that you can keep on, specifically in Mecha Base where you have only 1 of 2 ways to get there. And with that speed boost, you're going to be able to cover both of them pretty well. So each map's going to have a little bit of a variation on where you hold, but the key is going to be who can play the better team unit and who can, in some ways, kind of just clutch fights here. And we've seen a lot of those clutches out of Ninyo, and that's how we got here, right? Because Ninyo's just been clutching these fights and keeping these wins coming that they almost shouldn't have gotten.
Yeah, well, when you come in with that much clutchness, eventually that could run out. But if you're able to just get those last 2 more maps, those last 2, if they're able to do it in a row, that's all they need. Just 2 maps for either team. That's enough where having 1 or 2 clutch plays here or there could be the determining factor. On the first map, Lijiang Tower, which is a control point, just like we're going to in just a moment here with Busan, the first map was 99-99. That goes one way, that goes the other. That would have been completely different of who would have won that first map. Now we're coming into this, it could go either way, and there's still going to be another map on top of that.
It's a coin flip. It's a coin flip, right? Like, both teams are just playing incredibly so far. But you got to kind of give it to the underdogs here because the Dynamos are just, they pushed themselves. They won it the first time around, so they won it on Lijiang. And they've just looked kind of like a more aggressive team, right? Like they've just played more as a unit and played aggressively and paired very well together. But I mean, the number 1 seed here, the 6-1 team in Ninyo is just, this is a team that's used to being under pressure, right? So many of these players have been in CGL tournaments before. They've seen these higher, tournament brackets, the semis, the finals. So they know what it's like to play with this level of pressure. So that may pan out for them in the long run, Neon.
It very well might pan out for them. As we go into map number 5 here, it is gonna be
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary indeed.
Still Zenyatta's for both of the sides, Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I spy a monkey. I think I see Ninyo herself over on the... Nope, okay. I thought you got my hopes up. Maybe we were going to see the Winston come up, but no, it's going to be same comps we've seen, same goats with Zen. Nothing exciting there. So let's see where they take this fight, Neon.
They're going to take it at this big gong here. You can see, or a really big drum. My bad. Just try and get a bunch of damage in. Once again, it's just the goats playing, trying to get control of the point, and Dynamo gonna go down onto the point, use a bit of high ground, but they gain the point advantage, and they're gonna have to come onto them. See how that affects it. A lot of damage coming through on the graphic and onto Necromancer, who's immediately gonna go down. But Ninyo gets straight in here, so it's 1 down a piece. Immediately ran her into the back line. Discord on them. He's gonna get focused down heavily here. Caleb not gonna be able to do much, just barely surviving your rally. Already built up, and Flow Genius taken out on the Lucia here. Zeki gonna get D-Mac, but the point is still taken in Ninyo's favor. Her bomb coming through doesn't get anything at all. The ult's coming through. Dynamo just coming right back in. They're gonna pop that grab. They had the rally up as well. Counted by the Transcendence here, but 2 support ults in the bank of Dynamo. They're gonna have a lot to work with here, but they lose Juicy, who has the Transcendence online. So we're gonna come through to counteract the Shatter. Counter Sound Barrier to come in as well. We're gonna see possible grab coming through. Yes, it does come through. And Ninyo able to finally win this fight, 40% in.
Yeah, and Dynamos needed to keep pressure on the point there a little bit sooner because that fight drew itself out quite a bit of time. We saw 2 Graviton Surges come in from the side of Ninyo, but they were able to get charged the whole time and point control the whole time, so they're already halfway through. But Dynamo does have Transcendence and Shatter, so they're going into this with a couple extra ults, where meanwhile Ninyo only has Bomb. They're going to get Shatter and Rally early. But if Dynamo plays it well, they can take the advantage of the Shatter and use it to win the fight here immediately with just a hit alone.
They'll see if they can. Fields coming online here. Dynamo have to push in here. They're just kind of waiting for the other ults to be built up. That with the time left, they have 1, maybe 2 fights left. They need to take this somewhere in here. They're gonna start pushing forward. Finally, the Shatter comes through. Very unexpectedly takes 2 down, maybe a 3rd down there as well. Draft coming through as well. Able to take the Brig out. And that might just be enough to do it. We see the Transcendence there. We see the rally coming out as well. Celeb goes down on the Reinhardt. So does who? Zeki D-Macked here. Nitro falls as well. And in that overtime, Dynamo was finally able to take point.
I mean, they were able to get it, but now it's 1 fight. Ninyo just needs to win 1 fight, and that's done. And they have the Grav Bomb to do that. They'll also get the 1 support ultimate they have close to online, which is that sound barrier. So this is looking good for them to just win this, because you can't stop a bomb with the Graviton Surge. But if Flow Genius gets that sound barrier of their own, that could be the thing they need to get it. And they'll have it, so they save it for the right time. This could be the winner here.
A huge Grav eaten there. Double bombs coming through. Sound barrier coming in as well. And Grav wins the bomb. Duel gets 3. Well, Zeki just gets 1. Dynamo able to clean up whoever left.
Wow. Incredible. I saw Gravitic put that in there and just thought, there's no way that gets anybody. That barely threaded the needle, and boy, was I wrong. So Dynamo is going to maintain control. They didn't commit Transcendence, so they're going to have that. And they will get Graviton Surge coming in with the have it to pair with the Shatter, and that's going to have to be their win con. But Ninyo only has Shatter of them. Oh, they didn't commit Sound Barrier, so they have that going into it. So they have to make something big or get the rest of these ultimates fast, Neon.
They're going to be able to use those ultimates to the Shatter. We see the Grav coming through. The Brig is going to go down. We see the Sound Barrier trying to keep everyone alive here. The pins into the back line. A lot of damage being applied throughout. Ninyo, without that Brig, just suffering from lack of heals. They go down slowly but surely. And now we're into last fight territory here.
The last thing, this is exactly what happened on the first time around, though, right? The Dynamo were down, they turned it right back, and now they're going into this last fight with 4, and they'll get 5 the 5th ultimate as this fight starts with Flow Genius, and they just have so many support ults coming their way. Meanwhile, Ninyo, they have Graviton, but undoubtedly it's going to get canceled, and there's still this Transcendence from who, and they're going to enter on it, Neon. I don't know about that.
The Transcendence is going to come through the Shatter to try and counter its Grav. Rallies from both sides here being used. Everything. And the point swap here. Ninyo are able to take the point here. Shatter going to come through. Bomb coming in as well. Packets and Flow both go down. Ninyo looking extremely impressive here. About to take point.
Wow.
2 more go down. They still have that bomb. If needed, they're going to pop it when no one's left on the point. It's only Gravik above. Finally gets taken out. All 6 are down. And Ninyo able to take map number 1.
That really speaks to the clutchness of Ninyo there, because they were down in the ultimate economy. They, by any real means, shouldn't have won that. Like, the ultimates that were just available on the side of Dynamo Hazard alone should have won the fight. It's almost as if Dynamo Hazard's plan just went awry, when in reality they could have just almost all just pressed triangle at the same time and won in some regards. But much like that pulse there, it's not over yet. And though there's no changes coming in from both sides, Dynamo took map 1, the Lijiang Tower, being down on one of the maps. So let's see if they can do it again, Neon. Let's see if they can make the magic happen and keep this to map 3 to map 3 on this map.
We'll see if they can. It is the mecha base, possibly the 3rd best control point for goats behind Control Center and Village. So it's a lot of range that we might see a bit of swaps coming through, but we don't. Maybe later on. We do see Kale, though, going down very early on. That Dynamo's go. Immediately, Necro, though, does get taken out. A huge push from the rest of Ninyo. Very aggressive. The rest of the support line, though, gets taken out, and there's no one left for Ninyo to just have anything on the point. Dynamo will take it.
Flow Genius coming in here on the Lucio really is giving them a little bit of like a revitalization in some ways. Maybe it's just a different style of Lucio, because there's probably a reason they were put in, but they are making changes and they are winning fights on it, so they're rewarded with that. No ultimates, they're going to come into Graviton Surge here for Dynamo Hazard, and that's going to be they're going to look for that early. The quick rotation coming in from Ninyo, though, when they're only halfway through, and this is going to be a tough fight for both teams.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of damage come through. We see the grab online for Cactus. Can try and get it in the back line. Necromancer does go down. The grab coming through rather potently, but nothing there to capitalize on. I'm getting
What?
What? How?
Oh my gosh!
Lucio capitalized right on. Is that getting 1L? Gonna get D-Meg onto the map. Everyone goes down. How? It wasn't moved forward.
It had to be a bash, right? There's a bash or something there, right? Because that's the only way. We all saw the Reinhardt shield go up, and while it was a little high, it had to be a brig bash, right? And this rally that's going to commit it from Dynamo Hazard is going to be the start of this fight, Neon.
Shatter all 6 for this Zenyatta who's already in the Transcendence. You can see the bomb grab, all of it coming through. Get juicy out of huge first pick coming through while everyone's still very much sustained. You see Necro go down, and now Ninyo just have to come onto the point and take it before it goes too far down on the percentage. They're gonna be able to take it here. The Stalls will not be able to do anything with no ults all, and they finally take it here. But I think the shield was a bit too low just by the normal ground for that huge bomb coming through. The rest of Staggers finally gonna get taken out.
Yeah, no, it was definitely bash, right? Like that's part of what was made Goats so big was that initially when Brig launched, she could bash and stun Reinhardt's shield down, and that was part of the combo. You didn't even need 2 ultimates to win. You won on just sending D.Va Bomb in and stunning the Reinhardt at the right time, and won on team play. But team play showing off for this Ghost. That's why we love it, right? That's why you want to play this little team play. But Ninyo Shot does have the team play of the Shatter grab here going to come in with no support ultimates. They'll get those in the mid fight. Dynamo going to get in, and there's the Shatter immediately catching 6, and that's fight over, Neon.
Yeah, there's not much you can do right there. The grab gets eaten, the bomb coming in. It's not really going to do much here. Actually, there is still a bit of an insurgence here coming from Dynamo. Able to take it. Now they get 2 picks
there it is.
At the same time. That's going to be it.
Yeah, there's the full completion they were looking for. Dynamo still has Shatter. They're going to get Phlogenus. And Cactus's ultimate's coming on, so they'll have Grab Shatter with 1 answer coming in the line. But this is tough. This is they're over halfway. They lost a lot of time. Ninyo does have rally. They're going to enter on it, and they're just going to build their ults mid-fight. They're not worried about this fight, Neon.
You know, the rally, Transcendence, the grab, all being used here. Shatter as well. Gets the Zen, but nothing capitalized from that. Counter Shatter coming through. Gets absolutely nothing. Now it's just sort of a stalemate as maybe a rotation comes in. Definitely waiting on this fight to re-engage here. Now they're going to go in with the bomb coming into the backline. Takes 2.
Ooh.
The Lucio already fell, and that's going to be Ninyo winning another fight here.
Yep, that's going to be just cleanups. They're going to stagger this baby D.Va a little bit, try to bully her the best they can, and try to, buy some more time off the clock, which is so important because it's going to, we're getting almost to that last fight territory. Like, this is tough. Is anybody going to make it? And even if they do, there's only the sound barrier on the side of Ninyo to make anything work. Meanwhile, Dynamo Hazard has trance and sound barrier, and there's the pin coming in. That's so awful. The Ryan is kidnapped. He's in their back line.
You see the portals coming through. Necromancer gets taken after the kidnapping. Sound barriers, Transcendences all being used here. Celeb very low, but gets a Shatter off before they might die. They are going to be able to survive here with the Transcendence coming through to be able to sustain. Ninyo does go down with that grab possibility in their pocket to go down the bridge. Pulls in tow. Juicy gets traded. He's going to go down. We saw the grab there. We see the rally coming in now. And Ninyo getting taken out here. Only Nitro left. He was going to get taken out. And that no one's going to be able to come back in for the overtime. And that is map number 2.
No, and they're going to throw the grab in just to make sure of it. But man, that's so rough because taking out Ninyo themselves in that fight was really it. That was most of the damage gone, and with the Zarya gone and no charge available and really output damage, the fight was lost. So Dynamo Hazard looking to make history repeat itself here. This is it. This is the decider, and this will push us to tell us who's going forward on to map 6 there. No changes coming out. Still the Zenyatas. You know what? And I don't blame them. Like, it's been so back and forth. Do you risk even taking a gamble on an Honor or Moira? And I don't think so. So we'll have to see both of these teams can do, and who gets there first. Who gets there first is really going to be the decider here, because there's nothing to worry about on the high ground, right, Neon? Like, there's no Widows and Ashes to keep an eye out for shots, so you just play where you want to take the fight, and whoever gets to decide this fight is going to probably take the point first.
They're just getting full. Go to the point and just control above the point. Huge damage being applied here. Pack is almost going down. Celeb almost going down themselves. The counter push coming in. Point 10 seconds before it's unlocked, and it is going to be Ninyo who takes control of that point first. Dynamo have the high ground, however. They try and get something here. Stuns coming through. Almost takes out Necromancer, but not quite. Diva's up on the high ground, getting whatever they can, building up that bomb. A lot of ultra being used or just gained here. Ninyo able to take point first, going to be able to build that much point percentage as the ults are going to come in heavy. Despite the rally being used very early on, just all the ults are going to be used here. None of them, and out of nowhere, Necromancer gets pushed and taken out. The counter grab coming through to try and get something here. Transcendence, the bomb coming in, doesn't get anything at all. 10 and Lucio both go down for opposing teams, and that's going to be Ninyo able to stave off Dynamo for just a tap. They're going to keep on going. They're using the grab. The Diva gets demech, and the grab coming through. There's a lot of stuff. All that ult charge used, all the ults used from that fight, now ult charge coming back onto their team. It's a huge play from there.
I don't know about that. That probably wasn't a smart decision. You threw Graviton Surge, like one of your very key win points. You're either feeling very, very secure in your ability to win this based on Shatter alone, or you're just might have made a big mistake, because there are 4 ults on the side of Dynamo Hazard, 3 of them supports, so they can just stand longer in this fight, and they're going to come from above and rain it down. So this bomb and this Shatter Bomb has to be big on the side of Ninyo Ishot if they want to win this and hold this.
There we're going to come in with that rally. See. Oh, the bomb actually gets used to demech bomb. Just get back in, and Samir gets used even though it was nowhere near. The Shatter going to get blocked here completely. Counter Shatter going to come in. Gets the back line down, coming through. See the Transcendence able to keep everyone alive in that crowd. Then coming through. Ben is down. Being used from gravity. Bomb doesn't get anything. Juicy goes down. Gets traded here. Jack is grabbed out of mech. And Ninyo able to hold this coming into the end of this point.
And there's not going to be anybody to touch. Phlogenus has to, and they'll miss triggering overtime. Oh no! They took too long to get there and couldn't trigger it, Neon. They were trying so hard to keep themselves above those lines of the beam from the Zarya, and they fell just short to deny it. And Ninyo takes the control map there as we go to what is possibly match point in this PS4 finals. Neon, what a turn of events. I mean, as the 6-1 team, as the first seed, Ninyo expected to probably be ahead here, but it's been just a coin flip the whole way, right? Like, no one I couldn't predict this, even if you forced me to.
Yeah, well, it is actually an Xbox Finals. Small correction there. So sure. PS4, it is Xbox.
Thank you.
Yes. But Ninyo able to just be consistently clutch throughout. Usually when it's a consistency versus a clutch team, you go with consistency because they will be able to play it in the later maps. But Ninyo seemingly getting more consistently clutching as it goes on. It is an incredible sight to behold as we go on to the 6th map. Once we get the word of it right there, we have our awesome producer Headrammer able to tell us what the map is. Then do you want to take it away with the map?
Yeah, sure. We're going to surprise, actually I'm a little surprised on this one. Numbani is going to be map 6, and this could be match point for Ninyo here. Sure, probably the next best GOATS map you could ask for, I guess, in some regards. And there's some high ground to contest on, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to want it, right? Like, you're just going to you're going to have that option, especially on the capture point segment here for the hybrid. Like, you're going to be able to contest on the high ground and push from the high ground, but it's not necessarily maybe where you want to. Getting it will be important for the control, but then the streets phases is going to be very different because there's not too much to control, so your divas are going to be able to play a little bit. Maybe we see the elusive monkey goats here, but I wouldn't count on it. And similarly to prior maps, like, there's a chance we see something different besides the Zenyatta here. I wouldn't bet my money on it, but Numbani, a great map for just the variety of ways to approach it, if nothing else, right? Like, there's so many ways you can get onto Numbani from all these different points, and it's just, it may not be one that these teams have scrimmed, so we'll have to see what happens when we get down and travel to Brazil.
Yeah, but we are ready to go into Numbani here. Possible match point for Ninyo. They have the possibility of taking this here, and Juicy on the defense here on the Ana.
Okay. You know what? I had never seen this before, so if anybody would like some lottery numbers, I'm just gonna yell them out, and you do what you want with them. But I'll make you wait until the end of the map for that, so you have to stay around to watch this incredible match unfold. Meanwhile, it looks like everybody's basically the same. I see no real. Poppy came back in for Dynamo Hazard there. So the OG Lucio, the bootmaster himself there. I'm sorry, herself there, coming in back for this possible final map. And let's see what difference the Ana makes on this defense here, Neon.
Well, Juicy going to be set up in this back corner, ready to get those anti-nades in. If they land that, it could be all over. And gets two, but it's not going to be enough. Ninyo just going in and eating the competition alive. 4 picks, 3 of them coming in from Celeb. Just huge player right there. Immediately able to take this map. They do not want to be here long. They do not get paid by the hour.
I don't think they were prepared for that adequately. They're going to stick on the Ana. They do have 40% towards the nano boost. So, but I think they were caught off guard, right? I think they just speed boosted onto them and just were able to catch some people out. There was no cooldowns really used on the side of Dynamo Hazard. So they were able to do that. And this is an interesting thought. I like this. They're trying to keep the Ana back and prevent just everybody being caught in the middle of it and losing a pick to that while getting the value. And the D.Va's now going to be contesting this high ground. Going to be important. But the Shatter on the side of Ninyo is going to be the main tool they're looking for the victory here on. They're going to see what they can pair it with as the fight goes on. Meanwhile, on the side of Dynamo Hazard, they don't really have anything. They're pretty far along on that self-destruct, but that's going to be late in the fight there, Neon.
Yeah, well, they already used Shatter long before this fight even begins, trying to get a solo pick. Doesn't quite get anything out of it. You see another ult being built up. We see the ults being built up, as you say. And now the fight's really going to be taken here. Nano onto the Reinhardt, countered by the grab. That is huge. Just nullification of the Nano. The pin comes down to Cactus. Poppy goes down as well. And the rest are going to fall. Just a genius play there from Ninyo.
Yeah, the Nano went in, and usually you'll give it to the Reinhardt to try to give him a little more strength, but it just wasn't there, and that's gonna be a late stagger Necromancer. And the last contest is just gonna come in and fall. They're gonna stall it the best they can, and they are gonna swap to the Zen. Yeah, it was an interesting thought, but it didn't really work out. But on the plus side for Dynamo Hazard, they do have every other ultimate, right? They're gonna have 5 going into this fight. The only thing they're missing is that freshly changed Zenyatta. But Ninyo does have 5 themselves, and they'll get that Graviton Surge in a little bit sooner. So the toolbox for Ninyo a little bit better equipped here as we go into this possibly last fight.
The last fight of this point here. You see the rally coming in, just pushing forward from Celeb, looking to get that center, gets the back line, completely the grab gets eaten, however. Sunbird is coming used from both sides, bomb coming through, gets Juicy, Necromancer falls in that as well, and Ninyo just looking to take this with 5 minutes left. There might just be able to do it. There's no one left alive to touch the point. The transaction's gonna come through. The grab on the door. 5 minutes.
Ninyo's had enough. They would like this match to be done, please. 5 minutes on the clock is an outstanding time. The payload just never stopped, Neon. They were able to just win fights decisively, and the Ana was a good experiment. And I don't think it paid off with how they were trying to use it. Like I said, hiding the Ana in the back is an interesting idea because you keep them out of the fight. It's one less person you really don't... It's one less person that gets caught in the fray, right? Good concept. But in this kind of a meta where Discord Orb has a great value in itself, if you don't have that, it's tough. Like, is there value in both? Yes, but you have to play it differently. And they really just weren't getting the value out of those nades. They were never using them really for anti-nades, so they never really got that. And a celebratory tactical reset, I think, coming in from Ninyo here. They have some time, I guess, why not? I'll check the stocks while they go ahead and reset and finally get out there. But yeah, 5 minutes, they're really feeling themselves. But the last time they did this, Neon, they paid for it. They paid for it hard on Volskaya, and if they choose this and they falter again, they could be on the next train back to map 7.
Yeah, well, Ninyo, they have 5 minutes! That is the most we have seen in any time bank in this series after points have been captured.
Yeah.
That is just And Ninyo, they just need to hold. They could just hold until overtime. They don't have to hold it. They just need to hold till overtime. Then they have 5 minutes to take 1 point. Ninyo put themselves in a great position here. Speaking of great positions, Dynamo coming in from below, able to go right on the point without taking any damage. But a lot of damage being applied as they get onto the point. Immediately left. The damage is too much there. And they go down very early. Ninyo also lose their brig. Dynamo looking like they're going to repeat what Ninyo did. They're just going to take it.
I mean, the aggression from both of these teams just effectively, like, that's the aggression you need to win these, right? And they'll capture point a little bit straggled out. But now Dynamo is going to keep the pace here, and they're going to just try and keep the stragglers away as they capture the point. 5 minutes of their own on the point, and now they're going to push aggressively while the card's getting ready to roll. And, well, if they get an early pick here, this does not look good for Ninyo, as they do. They get Celeb down early, and they're not even going to need to... They're going to commit the Graviton Surge, but not really follow it up. Oh, they do get one. Okay, they followed up. There's two. Cactus just on a spree right now, Neon, and they bought themselves a lot of space. They still have 3 ultimates in the bag, and meanwhile, Ninyo on the other side, there's nothing. They're going to have the Graviton Surge eventually, but they're so far behind in the economy that it's just tough. It's a tough ask to come back.
Well, then you're going to have to do a full regroup here. By the time they get that full regroup, it's going to be a one-fight territory for the second point. They will not have that grab. They don't have any ults either. They're going to be building them all up as they come through. So ults coming through early on. Dynamo are going to be the win potential, or win. Just that's how they win here. They're gonna immediately lose to Celeb here. All the people go down in that shatter. We see the rally, we see the grab, we see the bomb, and that is Ninyo just getting dominated here, coming on through the entirety of the second point.
I mean, that's how the ult economy works, right? If you have more, ultimates than the other team, you can just win, and Dynamo will get to the end of point B here with 2 support ultimates in the bag going into this last fight again. But Ninyo now having 5, including all 3 support ultimates, they look in a better position to hold their own and set a defensive foot down and buy some time off this incredibly large clock that Dynamo Hazard's running.
Yeah, this is their shot. This is the best chance they have. They have the potential. They just need to capitalize on it. They're a very clutch team, as we said, consistently clutch. They just need to be able to pull that out right now. And they get Necromancer down, the shatter coming through. The Transcendence and the Sound Barrier coming through by both Sound Barrier and Transcendence at the same time. Both rigs, I believe, go down there.
No,
at least one,
just the one.
Just the one for Dynamo? Just the one for Dynamo. Cactus, Traffic, both go down. We're going to try and push Lucio, unable to get that pick. Finally able to put their flag in the ground for the time being.
A little uncharacteristic of Ninyo to kind of layer Trance and Sound Barrier at the same time. Maybe just a miscall in the feed there, but that's fine. You still have grab bombs, so there's your win condition if you're Ninyo. Everything else can come in. You don't really have any support ultimates to try to do this, but you can build those mid-fight. Dynamo, on the other hand, really nothing in their pockets, though. They're just kind of hoping for the mid-fight plays well for them. So this is probably going to be an equal push. Almost eaten, though. Ooh.
With a grab, almost eaten, but it still gets through. And just devastation on a Dynamo Hazard. Pick after pick. It's already over.
That was a dry push, though. There was no world they were going to be able to do that, and they're just going to stall this div out the best they can. Now that they have a few more tools in the box, like they'll have, they're coming into Diva Bomb, they're coming into Shatter, Rally. They're in a better position to keep this push moving, right? But they're losing crucial time. 4 minutes on the clock, still a lot, but well below the 5-minute push that Ninyo has. Ninyo on the other side does have Shatter. They have 1 chance. They're going to commit Shatter early, try to get some value out of that. Gets nothing, but Rally comes out early, Neon.
And the pick already coming through. Slub goes down. The Shatter going to come through, gets 2 down. The bomb coming in as well. Going to get the rest of the team. Everyone dies. Except for Nitro, who's able to just get back into the spawn.
I mean, that's fine. You now have your Lucy to speed boost everybody out. You can contest 1 more time before this is over. And you do have Graviton Surge and your Trance ready for that. You'll get Rally just before this is coming in too, so you can maybe commit that early. Meanwhile, Dynamo Hazard does have their own Trance and Graviton Surge, but with Sound Barrier on the different ends, it's going to be tough as the Gravitons come out. Bombs come out, nothing.
Everything coming out, the Transcendences. The sound barriers, the rallies, just it all being used. Nitro gets the sound barrier and immediately pops it. That's going to allow the team to sustain, to kill Juicy, and push forward here. They're taking this fight extremely deep in enemy lines. Parrot goes just a bit too far into enemy lines, gets taken out. They're trying to take out Gravit here. Very, very low. Able to demech that. Rally coming through. We're going to see Necromancer get taken out. Zeki gets demeched here. Going to pop that bomb out. Unable to get anything but just get back into the mech. And able to win this fight. It's still stalled out though. The D.Va gonna get staggered up. Actually, able to stay alive with the bubble.
Able to stay alive
in the mech, and immediately gonna be allowed to come right back into this fight. There's almost no downtime.
No, the fight never really stopped. I don't know about committing that D.Va bomb though. You might have wanted that because that would have gone great with your other two tank ultimates as the bomb comes in, and he gets one, and the other grab gets eaten. Neon. This is a disaster for Ninyo.
Ninyo just unable to get anything. Just all the ults were effective from Dynamo there. They used them all. All got good usage. Ninyo just have to hold this until they can get out. They're going to try to transcend this, and it's not able to get in. Just barely doesn't touch. I believe a boop, a flail, something came in, stopped it. But end of the day, Dynamo able to take third with 2 minutes remaining. Ninyo still have a huge advantage.
Yeah, it's not the 5-minute time bank you're staring at from the side of Ninyo, and it's not what you could have had, but that could be worse, right? You still got a little bit of a boost. It's not worst case scenario, but it's not fantastic, really. So Dynamo Hazard going to have the first attack here. All Ninyo has to do is just keep him from getting a tick, right? Then you have, you know, a third to get, 5 minutes to get a third, and you're the champions. You bring it home. This is the finish line. The finish line is in sight for Ninyo, and all they need to do is just prevent this from going farther than it has to. And meanwhile, on the Dynamo Hazard, they have to win or go home right now. They have to keep themselves alive because this is match point, right? If they win, they push to map 7, that very, very important one to keep them in the finals here. And if they don't, we're done. And I guess they can go have a nice spend some time shopping their sadness away because I don't know what else you could do at that point. Those sandals aren't in my size though, so I don't think if anybody's looking for me, you should invest in those flip-flops.
Yeah, the flip-flops are pretty nice if they fit your size, but Ninyo looking for a point on their side here. They want to end this right now. 2 minutes. Both teams took first very quickly off of just about one fight here, and once again, Dynamo gonna go. Actually, this time they're going to go around. They're going to flank through just main instead of bottom. They kind of faked it out there, and they're just going to take the fight right onto the point as soon as possible. Going to get a lot of damage into the backline with the D.Va on the high ground. Discord go right on to Celeb, but immediately take it out. The rest of the team's going to focus fire. You can see Franco down. Zeki going to get D-Mac here in the tank line of Dynamo. Takes a lot of damage. Actually, not going to be able to do anything onto the point. Ninyo take it out. Juicy as well. Zeki just looking to get back into that mech. The only real tank now on line, and Dynamo have a defensive side of the point. They're going to be running into the Reinhardt who's respawning. All the respawns going to lose Para. They also lose Pooh. Cactus and Grab both go down. Graphic still alive, just in the D.Va position. No, now they finally die. And this fight is so insane. It's already a minute down. Celeb falls once again. Nitro, 1 health, does get taken out. Sound barrier coming in to solidify this fight. And finally, Dynamo able to take it, but so much time lost.
I mean, they bought a lot of time off the clock, though, for Ninyo, right? Like, you still have a chance to recontest this. You may or may not, but they're going to try to push this back, but there's so many ults still on the side of Ninyo. They have 4, and meanwhile, Dynamo does have 5 themselves. Shatter, and everybody's just going to throw their ults in Neon.
Yeah, everything comes used to Shatter. Grab, Transcendence Rally, Sound Barrier, everything, actually, except for the grab. The grab came in from Dynamo, which is going to give Ninyo a nice ult to hold with. Ninyo just need to hold it for another 20 seconds here.
They turned it back, though, what could have been a very, very tough fight. And Dynamo got a little overzealous there at first. They kind of rotated themselves into Ninyo's backline so that the respawns were kind of sandwiching them. And they have 1 more shot. They have to make it, and they're going to rally early to try to get this rolling. The pin just misses from Necromancer, and this is going to be the start of a big fight, Neon.
Yeah, the Shatter going to come through. Gets you! Blue as well. Garrett going to get demech here. The draft was used from Ninyo already. Necromancer is going to go down. Double stun there onto Para and Celeb, but they're going to stay alive through this, and it's just going to be a massacre. Celeb goes down. are lose. Ben in that as well. They get traded there. Juicy kind of fighting the Lucio here with the Discord on the Lucio. Nitro able to stay alive. The rally going to come in from Para. And now Juicy going to get just focused hard. Able to be taken out. Bomb coming in. Doesn't get anything. But actually, no, Guts Gravik's mech. Just as it comes back in, we see Necromancer going to try and come back in. Doesn't get anything. Just barely holding on the point with the Lucio and the D.Va. The Lucio goes down. D.Va unable to get back on the point. Gets D-Mech. And Ninyo with 5 minutes just have to take a bit more than 2 ticks.
Okay. So there's a win condition in play now, right? You have 2 ticks. It's a big, big ask if you're the Dynamo Hazard, but you just need to keep them from getting 2 ticks in 5 minutes. Not impossible, just very unlikely. So, I mean, put on your boots, get in there, and hunker down because you have to make this work if you want to stay alive in the finals match here. Dynamo Hazard just couldn't quite keep it going. So, but Ninyo's going to come out aggressive, right? Like we watch Ninyo come in, and we watch both these teams capture this point aggressively. So I would be concerned if I'm Dynamo Hazard that they're going to take this fight aggressively to your face and just immediately try to take the point over. But then again, with 5 minutes, Neon, you could also just kind of buy some time, get 6 ults, and win the fight that way. And that hasn't been either of these team styles, but that is an option, right? Like you can just kind of slow play this fight, get a full team wipe, and then just get the 2 ticks that way.
You could very easily do that. That's a safe option. You have 5 minutes. You could do that twice over, maybe even a third time if you get that very heavy ult charge, which is in this patch of Ghosts. We also see Dynamo not running the Ana this time. A big reason why Ninyo were able to just take it was because there was the Ana on Dynamo's defense, and now that's not there, so Ninyo might have a bit of trouble, although they could very easily steamroll. We'll have to see as they come in to what could be the last attack of this final.
They're going to push onto that high ground, Neon.
Yeah, and this time, nobody's there, so they can't immediately get that first pick like they did last time. But now, Dynamo going on the offensive here. They're the ones that have to push in onto Ninyo, onto the point, and it's working. Celeb goes down. Zeki almost D-Max here with the Discord on them. D-Max indeed. No. They lose Para on the break as well, and this strategy worked wonders for Dynamo so far.
Yeah, they've managed to hold it, no real losses, so they're doing well. In the ult economy, they're a little bit ahead too. Most of the ultimates, minus the Lucio, are at about 50%, so even in this next fight, which will probably be another like slow, just push to get some ultimates, they should be ahead. Meanwhile, Ninyo still a bit behind, barely a third across the board, though Nitro Gaming does have a little bit more in the sound barrier race, so that may be a factor here going into it. Still a grab bag, still up in the air. They're going to come from the bottom, Neon, and try to meet them on the top.
Yeah, well, Ninyo needs to meet them. That's how they win these fights. That's how they won the first time around. They just need to meet them. But Dynamo just acting up, just all the damage coming in onto Ninyo. They go onto like low ground now. They're gonna take everyone that's left on the high ground. They're gonna take out both Ben and Poppy, who gets counter traded, but that might not be enough. The Juicy gonna get pushed here. Able to build that transcendence and unable to use it before it gets popped. Gravik gonna go into the air with the bomb. Doesn't get anything at all. Parrot is gonna go down traded there. Grab both of them coming out. Celeb goes down. Is it going to be anything to take out the tank line of Dynamo? That's all that stands between victory and Ninyo right now. They're able to get the D.Va D-Mech. They're able to take Ninyo out, but Gravik going to get D-Mech countered here. It looks like Dynamo just able to eke out of the fence.
3 minutes still on the clock for Ninyo, though, and I mean the Divas have to reset. That's going to wait. It's going to be Nitro holding on to that sound barrier, but there is Transcendence and Self-Destruct coming right around the corner for Ninyo, so they have a little bit of advantage if they rush, and it looks like they're going to. Meanwhile, Dynamo Hazard does have Trance and Rally, so a little bit more defensively minded here. They have a bit more of the tools. They're going to commit that in Neon, and they're going to take this fight early.
Yeah, they're going to use that Transcendence bomb coming in just on top of that. Gets through. That might just be ready to the Shadow's going to come into the back line as a well take. That's 3 tanks. It's just the Transcendence on the point. They're going to have to come back on the point. They lose the 2. They lose the break, and they lose the Lucio. The Lucio's going to come back there with that temper. They can get that on. We see the grab coming through. They're going to get T-Mac here, and Necromancer are going to go down. And Ninyo just going to push or take the point. 1 tick down, 2 ticks down. No one can get back on the point. And Ninyo able to take map number 6. You're Tier 3 EU Xbox GOAT finalist champion.
Unbelievable. Considering the Brig had already committed the rally in and the Lucio was just so close to having the sound barrier there, to make those 2 picks was the biggest thing, and that's literally what won it for them. And Ninyo clutching it again. They've been clutch this whole series. They've played incredibly well, and not to dunk on the Dynamos by any means, because they put up an incredible effort, but they are deserving of to be the champions for this bracket, right? Like they went 6-1. They earned and proved themselves in the regular short tournament season here. And though they came out on top, I don't think the scoreline reflects that in any sort of way, Neon.
Yeah, no, this would be, if it was accurate, it would be something like 7-8. This was so close. An incredible series on both sides.
It was just down to the wire, and these clutch plays and these diva bombs, like that's the winning play here, right? It's just what you can get value on these diva bombs on, and time again, Ninyo just constantly found value for the diva bombs, be it 1 or 2 supports or the Reinhardt or a very important piece like the Zarya with a high charge at the right time, have just constantly been that. But that's the kind of play that you get from, players who have been to these situations before, players who have played in high pressure and gone to championships and done that. So good on them for Ninyo. And Ninyo is in fact hot, it turns out.
And they are able to take it. They are on fire in that last map. 5 minutes. That is so incredible.
That's
especially
wild.
especially since you don't get that extra time anymore, I don't think. So that is huge. Just, it didn't stop. Stop at all. And it gave them all the room they needed to take. Any time they could have wanted to take that point, they could have held it or let it be held for 4 minutes, build up all the ults, do a drive push, and then come in. They really had there's no way that they really could have lose. And they were able to take it with a huge bomb play. Great capitalization after it. We see throughout the entire series. Whether it's just you ult to get people off of a target, just which we saw on King's Row when they were able to hold on the fourth? Yeah. At the beginning of fifth, at the end of fourth. Just great usage throughout the entire series. And I do believe it is time for us to pick the MVP from Ninyo.
I mean, that's such a tough ask, right? It's just because GOATS is such like a team comp, to pick the one person that shined is impossible to me. Unless you've got someone in mind, Neon, I couldn't pick.
I would have someone in mind here. I was thinking the Zarya from Ninyo, although it was swapped just a bit. Zarya on the last map there. I can't quite remember names. Not that good with names, but that Zarya just so good throughout. I believe it was the main Zarya that they played in the series. Just so good. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth map. Zarya extremely consistent, and when they were on Zarya, also playing at a very high level off of what not really their main character.
I actually believe it was Ninyo that was playing Zarya in that last map. So if by all intents and purposes Ninyo is hot and Ninyo lived up to their name by your standards, and that's fine. I'm just gonna leave it to chat because I'm still astounded at the multiple things we've seen on these maps today. But there's so much more to come, right? Like we still have other finals coming up, right? There's still a game tomorrow, Neon. So I don't think there's a reason. If you enjoyed today, you might as well come back tomorrow for even more.
Yeah, and speaking of tomorrow's game, I'm scheduled to be there, so I want to see all of you there as we wrap this game up. There's tomorrow's game, and I believe one more game coming up through this GOATS off tournament. But for now, that is all you're going to have of us here. Make sure to follow CGL at all possible locations, especially this stream. Most likely the next few matches are going to be on CGL1 on Twitch, so anywhere the chat can find you.
Yeah, so from myself, So of Danum, Neon Protege, and Headrammer on production, we thank you all for coming on out and enjoying some GOATS with us, and we'll see you around next time.